Shalom, shalom, and shalom, Sister Deborah, prophetess in the wilderness. And you know what? That's all right with me. Coming again on this devil platform with another message. And I will say this is a lovely, lovely morning in which the Most High Yah has made, and I, Sister Deborah, shall and I will rest therein. I want to come in with a topic uh, like until yesterday. And it's called The True War Within versus the War Without Understanding. The true war within versus the war without understanding. I want to just start reading this because I videoed this about 10 times, and each time I do it, the Father says, Deborah, you got too much word from the beginning. And what he means is I'm saying too much, and it's running into 10, 15 minutes, cut it down. So I got to go into this lesson, and we're going to start from Genesis chapter 1 and verse 26 through 28. I want you to first and foremost understand something that's very powerful in this here lesson: true war within versus the war without understanding. Okay, and I want to label this part two, but what I'm going to do is uh, delete the part one and pull this in as the topic itself to override. I want to say to you all, who can actually tell me what is the highest achievement man has made on the face of the earth as of today? What would we can say one of the highest achievement men has reached the level of today? Okay, and the reason why I asked that question is because it is connected. It is connected. They reached the level of creating, okay, man, woman, without that which the Most High used in Genesis chapter 2, and Genesis chapter, yeah, in Genesis chapter 2, and 7, 8, and 9. When what they did is they created man, woman, without, without Genesis chapter 2, verse 7. I put it like that. Genesis chapter 2, verse 7. They did it. That's a big achievement, you guys, which you don't hear very many people talking about it on these platforms because they're busy talking about their emotions, their feelings, and how they're offended. And they get people onto their platforms to discuss how they feel based on their emotions or how they feel based on how they've been offended. Okay. So I noticed that that's what this here is all about. That's why it's called a devil platform, because people can hide their devilish ways on these platforms, and they lead the mass, the multitude, to follow behind them. And the multitude is not even aware that they got you following behind their feelings, their emotions, okay, their personal opinion, even their feeling of feeling offended. So they get the mass of the multitude of subscribers and likes to come and praise them, so that their feeling of being offended can be take a blanket and put it over them. Okay, so what I'm saying is the biggest and the highest level of achievement that man has reached in this day and time is to clone male and a female. That would be one, if not the main one of achievement flesh has been able to do. Okay, but I want to let you know that's their achievement, that the Father in heaven has suffered them to do so. Now, could they have done it without him? No way. You all don't know him. You think you know him. They couldn't have done it without him. But that's an achievement he allowed them to reach. Okay. Now, I think that is very important because they can always clone animals or plants and so on. But when you're able to clone he that has been given the breath of life, and what else? and a spirit, then you can reach that level of cloning them without that breath, without that spirit. Sister Deborah called that an achievement. Achievement. But with the how would I say, with the will of the Father. It's impossible. They couldn't have done it without him. And he didn't do it, but he suffered them to reach that goal. So a lot of things, when Sister Deborah is saying the war within versus the war without, is because the war without understanding is actually winning. The war without understanding is winning. And the war within is losing. But that too is the will of the Father. That too is the will of the Father. So you have to understand, who is this war? Who is this war you speak of without? And who is this war that is within? Okay? There's two wars, okay? And you have to be able to discern it only in the spirit realm. You can't just see this thing. Like Peter, when Yeshua asked the disciple, who do they say that the Son of Man is? And then he turned around, okay, so who do they say I am? Then when Peter said it, Yeshua, as the word called, Yeshua stepped back and said, hold up. Flesh and blood didn't reveal that to you. That means I did not come down here to reveal that to you. Only way you could have got that is what? From the heaven. See, you all think that Yeshua can override heaven. He can't, nor can you. Yeshua cannot override heavens, and nor can you. So a lot of people thinking that they're going to do things their way, feel about things their way, say things their way, understand things their way, and they don't understand. Heaven's going to rule always, especially in Sister Deborah. You see, yesterday I gave you all a message. And in that message, when it was given to me, if you could only, I know you can't, but if the Father would have given you the feel of how I was feeling when he was teaching it to me, I was so full of the anointing of the Most High God. I was eating it up. I was so happy what he was teaching me. And it was like he wasn't teaching me here and giving me time to really get it. It was like, here, bam, boom, you got it. Boom, big. This every step of the way of what I'm about to say to you all is what he gave me, and he kept it going. This is what I mean when I say when I'm in the wilderness. He don't play with me, and I don't play with him. Why? Because it's time to shut up. See, there's a time to speak, and there's a time to keep quiet. And when the Ruach is teaching me in the wilderness, it's all ears on board. You see? And I want to just share those, try to get that feeling. Yesterday, I only had it a little bit, and I was trying to figure out, as I was teaching you all didn't even know. My spirit was saying to the Father, where's that feeling? Where's that feeling? I was seeking that feeling last night on this message that I was teaching. Why? Because that's what I had when he was taught to me, and I could not bring that feeling. It was there a little bit, but not like it was when the Father teaches me. Do you all understand? When I'm bringing something to you, it's only because of what he's brought to me. If it wasn't for him, I wouldn't even be on this Deborah platform bringing you nothing. You know why he says you got a lane? Because that's what he wants me to remind me. That lane is to remind me I'm still in the race. Who race? His race, not yours. So when he's doing that, that's what giving me the adrenaline. It's his anointing in me, his teaching in me that makes me want to come and put forth. That's why he says to me, and he said it, how many years it's going on? 2 years? He said it's finished. Because really, actually, Deborah, it is, but you're still in the race. That's what he wants me to know. And because you're still in the race, I created you a lane so I can remind you to get in that lane. That means stay in spirit and truth, Deborah. Stay with the light in front of you and every side of you. Know that there's a light that's leading you. Know that there's spirit and truth with you. So let's go into this here. I mentioned to you the highest level of accomplishment of men today is to clone, because they are cloning men and women that looks like you and I, and they have no breath of life that proceed out of the breath of the Most High Yah, nor the spirit that came with the breath, which is a light, which is a spirit, which is Yah's image. They have those, they have not those. But yet, they can conduct themselves like you and I. Say that that is not an achievement. That is beyond an achievement. Because with that, I even said, when the Father was teaching me that, I said, but you let them do that? That's very powerful. See, you all don't understand. Satan know he's in. Satan in the race too. Satan has his lane. It's a dark lane, but he has a lane. He has a lane that the Father has told him, get in it and stay in it. Come out of it, I'll tear your tail up. See, Satan knows that. But just imagine us that's walking around here with a spirit, which is a light that the Father has given us, and his breath. And we walk around here, don't even know who he is. Because we search man's wisdom and knowledge and understanding of who he is. And we don't want to come over to the spiritual realm of spirit and truth to really know who he is. Because we so busy on drugs. We are addicted to drugs. And the drug that we are addicted to is stupidity. And that is to man's wisdom. So you can go anywhere and get the drugs called deceive. Okay? They got deceiving. They got wisdom in the flesh, wisdom in knowledge in the flesh, understanding in the flesh, feelings in the flesh, emotions in the flesh, personal opinion in the flesh. They got all kind of medication for you. But when you start to hear what spirit and truth, you can't deal with it. You can't handle it because you so hooked on all those other drugs to where you can't even digest nor comprehend spirit and truth. It's not anywhere here. It just like it's just okay. It's a word spoken, and I understand it and praise the Most High Yah. No. How many times did I tell you you got to feel this thing? So you got to feel this thing. So a lot of times when Sister Deborah is bringing forth the anointing that is in me, teaching that it has taught me that morning, when I have to jump up out of my bed and go into word and be in it 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 hours, let me tell you something. You think this sister is in there because she's just in there alone? No, baby. I'm in the wilderness with the Most High Yah while he teaches me this. So I wanted to start this one here off. And I wanted you to understand that that question is and was man's highest level of achievement is to clone. Okay? Because they are creating something without something, but yet it's working like something. Let me say that again. They have been given the ability to create something without something, but yet it's living today as something. It's powerful. And you wonder, how could it be? This is where you have to also still see how just and how fair and how righteous the Most High Yah is. He know he created a lane for Satan to run in, and he's running in it. Satan know that the lane that he's in is very narrow, and he has to stay in it as long as he understands what Genesis 3:15 said. I put intimacy between thee. Understand that. You cannot cross over even though you got the hate. And that's what's on the earth today. The intimacy in Hebrew and Greek means hate and hatred. That's what you see in today. See, when I was thinking why these men had so much hate for their women, there it is. The Father kept telling me they're the seed of the serpent. And I'm like, wait a minute, but why is all these men thinking? He said, Deborah, go on and finish the lesson. That's what he's saying to me now. It's going to speak for itself. See, I had a email, not a message, a comment says that our brothers from a brother said that they had to fight. Our men has to fight for truth, and that our women, you don't see none of our women in the camp fighting. You know why? You know why? Because truth don't need you to fight for it. It's like righteous. They stand alone. Bad boy. You didn't know that, did you? See, this is what they don't teach these men. Truth and righteous. Faith and belief. And the fear of the Most High Yah is his brand. He don't need you to fight for truth. It stands with spirit. And spirit stands with truth. So what are you fighting for? Baby, truth stand alone. How long you think truth been existing? Do you see truth in the Do you see truth in the grave? Do you see truth dead? Truth stand alone. It just don't stand with chaos. It don't have to stand with fighting. Because the truth be told, he says that the Hebrew Israelite men have to fight for truth. Baby, no. Show me that in your Torah. Show me that in your King James 16. Show me that in any of your lost books that you done found said man has to fight for truth. Show me in Deuteronomy 28 that he tells you, the house of Israel, to fight for truth. Come on now. You ain't gonna find it. So this is the message I was saying about how our elders have misled our men. And when the elders misled the men, the women, and their children suffer. Suffer what? They are not walking, talking, nor living our truth. Because truth don't need you to bag it up and bag it down. Truth stands with spirit. Spirit stands with truth. Who are you? Standing with the flesh of man. How about that? How about that? Just like righteous. Righteous don't need you to stand with it. Righteous stand proud and by itself. It don't need you on this left and this right behind it, in front of it. Righteous stands alone. It don't need you. That's like truth. Truth stands with spirit, and spirit stands with truth. Who are you standing with? Your flesh and the mouth of these men. Just like in the days of Pharaoh, when he brought them through the out of bondage. Where did the elderlies die? See, the elders today is fooling up the ears in the minds and messing up the ears in the minds of our men today. That's why they don't know nothing. That's why the anointed that teaches me, don't be bothered with them. That's why they don't know spirit and truth. That's why they out here fighting. That's the whole topic of this message. The true war within versus the war without understanding. Judah is without understanding the war within. Judah is without understanding regarding the war within. If they knew the war within, they wouldn't be fighting the war without understanding. Because the war without has no understanding. You're fighting your own fight. You're fighting your own flesh. You won't find that in Deuteronomy 28. You won't find that in Torah. You won't find it nowhere in the scriptures where Yah sung you out to stand for truth. So while he's telling me that truth needs to be upheld by the Hebrew, you know what? These elders that's teaching you has caused you to lose your life. See, they doing the same thing they did in the wilderness. That's why they got left there. But they messing up enough of their young men and their men so bad, so bad, to where you too gonna die. Isaiah 3:25 on this land of your captive. you're going to die. This is how messed up from the floor up it is. So, believe it or not, when you hear this war, the true war is within versus the war without understanding. See, the Spirit of the Most High gave me that. So I know that it carries power in what is taking place today. And they have, these old heads have brainwashed. Father, Yah, thank you, I needed that. Has brainwashed our men today in the tribe of Judah to believe that this is a battle need to be fought by their hand. This is a battle to get their women submissive and in control. This is a battle this is a battle time for them to be leaders, rulers, and kings. Where is that in Deuteronomy 28 that says you came over here? Did it say you come over here, you're going to be leaders, rulers, and kings? Did it say that? Or did it say you're going to be oppressed? So what did that tell you? They have no respect, nor do they salute the curse of the Most High Yah found in Deuteronomy 28. They don't salute it. That means they don't have no belief within. They speak it on the out without understanding, but they have no belief of what was said within. They think they have to help the Most High Yah out. And the Most High Yah said, devil, leave him alone, leave him alone. When he cut into me, Isaiah chapter 3 and 25, I said, oh no, oh no, oh no, 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 no. Oh yes, oh yes, oh yes, 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 yes. And it makes more sense with the yes than the no, no, no. Why? Because Yah have given them 400 and plus to get this thing. Now you got to understand this here. He's giving them even more time if they could just meditate on when they was in captive in Egypt and how he brought them out. They won't even meditate on that, but then they want you to ride on Torah. That's why I don't agree with people who think that Torah overrides, nor all these lost books override spirit and truth. It does not, because people don't know about spirit and truth. That's that understanding without understanding. They don't know nothing about spirit and truth. They don't even know nothing about the light, y'all. And you know Yeshua HaMashiach brought it. And they don't know nothing about it and the way it's supposed to help us while we are over here in our land of our oppress. They would have a better journey understanding it than not understanding it. And that's why there is a war within versus the war without understanding. Both lose because neither nor knew the level that they are measured from within and without understanding. Okay, so the number one question was, what was the biggest accomplishment man has made here on the earth that the Father has allowed them to achieve, and that was cloning. Okay. Now I want you to go to let's go. He wants you to fully understand Genesis chapter 1, verse 26 through 28. Okay, what he wants me to bring to you is the war within versus the war without understanding. See, we think that everything that we're seeing is the overall of war, and he wants you to understand the war starts with you. Within. You are your own worstest enemy. Okay? So the war is you. Who is you? That's your own worstest. Your flesh is an enemy to your spirit. Okay? Your flesh is an enemy to your spirit. Okay? So there is a war within you. Okay? So while you're looking at all the wars in the world, you have forsaken the war within you. The world is not going to be judged on your behalf. Okay? You're going to be measured, or have been measured, on who you are within not without. The judgment for your flesh is the grave, but the judgment is for your spirit stands before the throne. And when it stands before the throne, it is not going to be no but if, I need, it's going to be already appear before the throne because the heavens already got the books open and the book, the Lamb Book of Life and the books. It already know which way you're going. But I, Sister Deborah, speaks to the living that is dead. I speak to the living that is dead. There go two. Even though you breathe in the natural life, you can be dead in the spirit. See, they didn't know. People don't understand what the spirit is because they never taught them, and nor do people teach you on the earth about the spirit. It has been forsaken just as Yah has been forsaken. What do you mean, Sister Deborah? Okay, the spirit has been rejected. Your own spirit has been rejected just as Yah has been rejected from the beginning. Why? Because there was a war within versus the war without understanding. And I will like to say to you, the war without understanding has won both sides. Okay? So, Sister Deborah just coming to give you a spiritual insight of the true war inside, within, versus the war without. You a mess, Creek, and Creek is up your mess. Okay? So, let me explain something. When you get to Genesis, he wants me to start with Genesis because Genesis tells the true story of who's who and what's what. A lot of y'all don't know that, but it does. It really does. It's helped me out a great deal because all the anointing is there, all the power. I can see the power in Genesis chapter 1. That's where I learned about the power. And how powerful it is in the spirit realm that carries over into the natural. This type of power carry it all from the heavens to the earth to the heavens to the hell to the lake of fire, everywhere. It carries it. What? Genesis 1. Chapter 1 carries all that power. And then verse 2 come up. Chapter 2 come pull up. Wham! There go more power. We missed it. I'm gonna say we. You all missed it. Okay? And you're still missing it. That's the war within you. Constantly missing it because the war without understanding is fighting heavily toward the war within because it don't know. And you're without understanding. Okay? So in Genesis chapter, what he wants me to do is he wants me to let you know the war within. The war within. I am constantly spoken to in my spirit. And there it go again. It happened like this yesterday. But I'm not going further. I'm gonna stick with what he showed me, how he taught me. Oh, here it is. We need to go to Revelation 12. Let's go to Revelation 12. We're gonna learn some things today. And how much time? Oh my goodness, Father, it seems like there's not enough time when I'm. He said that's okay. You doing good. Thank you, Father, y'all. You're doing good. Revelation chapter 12 and verse 4. In Revelation chapter 12, verse 4, it says, and his tail drew the third part of the stars of heaven and did cast them to the earth. And the dragon stood before the woman which was ready to be delivered, for to devour her child as soon as it was born. And she brought forth a man child who was to rule all nations with a rod of iron. And her child was caught up unto Yah and to his throne. Verse 6. And the woman fled into the wilderness, where she had a place prepared of Yah, that they should feed her there 1,260 days. And there was a war in heaven. Michael and his angel fought against the dragon, and the dragon fought against the angels. Right there is a war within. This is a war within the heavens before there were an earth. A lot of us want to make the war on the earth. The Father wants you to know you always had it wrong, and it's okay because it's over. Again, you always had it wrong, and it's okay because it's over. It's no time. We don't have anything in this DAY to really think that we can bring out some truth to change anyone. I'm speaking because I'm in the race still. That means I have to continue to speak. Okay? Because I am a servant of the Most High God. This is how He wants me to serve Him, by continuing to speak that which He gives me and enlighten me. Okay? So, what is happening in Revelation chapter 12 and verse 7? And there was a war in heaven. Michael and the angels fought against the dragon, and the dragon fought against his angels. And the dragon fought and his angels. Okay? Verse 8. And prevailed not, neither were their place found anymore in heaven. Okay? Verse 9. And the great dragon was cast out, and out the old serpent called the devil and Satan, which deceived the whole world. Did he deceive the whole world? Yes, he did, even to today. Did he deceive even Yah's? Yes, he did, even to today. It says the whole, let's go back there. In verse 9, and the great dragon was cast out, that serpent called the devil and Satan, which deceived the whole world. He was cast into the earth, and his angels were cast out with him. Okay, now right there, it kind of give you a feel of what Sister Deborah is saying about a war within. Okay, versus the war without understanding. See, the war within is what caused, it's what was the first step to creating a heaven and the earth and everything thereof. It was the war within was created because of what was within the heaven that had taken place. So while we're looking at the war all over these countries, when Matthew's chapter 24 and 6, when Yeshua is telling us that wars and rumors of wars is not it. Why? Because heaven had the first war. And until you understand the war within, you will never understand the war without no understanding. So what do? We focus on the war in the world without understanding there was a spiritual war before the war. Okay? So when you understand the spiritual war, you understand the two. You understand the two. There was a battle between two in the heaven. That was the first war. And the reason why no one really understand it, because no one ever thought to really do an in-depth study under the Ruach HaKodesh, not over the Ruach HaKodesh, with your own wisdom, your own knowledge, and your own understanding, and all other lost books and all other found books. The Ruach takes you to a place, okay, that the flesh of man cannot take you. That's what Yeshua was saying to Peter. You all don't get it. That's what he was telling Peter. He said, oh, hold up. Now, flesh and blood didn't reveal that to you. I did not tell you that, Peter. That's what Yeshua was saying. Why? Because when y'all throw up and throw down, he come himself. He the one. What did Yeshua tell Peter? Flesh and blood didn't reveal that unto thee, but the Father himself. Well, that's what Sister Deborah be trying to teach y'all. And you all be looking at me and thinking, oh, this woman just talking. She flesh like us. She did. Use a lie from the pit of hell. I'm flesh like you. I sin like you. But I am not lost like you are. And I just thank him from giving me, making me that individual that he trusts himself to live in and teach from one end to the other so that I can bring messages, food that's rich to your plate. Now, what was Yeshua saying? That was an example to you, carbon copy of what Sister Deborah been saying to you all. When I say I'm taught in the wilderness, that's what I'm trying to say to you all. I'm taught from the horse's mouth, which they say on the earth. I'm taught by Yah himself, his own spirit. I try to explain that to you all. So that's what Yeshua was saying to Peter. Flesh and blood didn't reveal that to you, but the Father, not in him. He said the Father were in heaven. He was taking you to a higher part. Father, thank you, thank you. Thank you, Father. Let me tell you what he's saying. He said, tell him, take him a little higher. He's telling me to take y'all a little higher. I don't know who out there hearing this, but he want me to take you a little higher. He said that when Yeshua said, who do they say that I am? And Peter said, the Son of the living Yah. Okay? And then what did Yeshua say? Wait a minute. Flesh and blood did not reveal that. Why? Because Yeshua HaMashiach was born of a woman, born in flesh. And he was saying to Peter, I'm your teacher. I did not reveal that to you. So what did he do? He took Peter and placed him higher by saying, flesh and blood did not reveal that to you, but the Father were in heaven. Well, wait a minute. Didn't they say you are the Father? He said, I have his power, his word, and his spirit, but I am not the Father himself. So he's saying that I did not reveal that unto you, but the Father in heaven revealed that unto you, Peter. That's the same thing what Sister Deborah been saying to y'all for years. I am not a student of flesh. I am a student of the Ruach HaKodesh. My class is found in the wilderness. That's the level he teaches me from. That's no different than Yeshua telling Peter, flesh and blood did not reveal that to him, but something higher, when that's all I be trying to relay to individuals. And nope, I'm not supposed to sound like it eases and smoothing and massages your flesh heart, your flesh mind, your flesh itself. I'm supposed to go strictly full force to the spirit realm of man. Okay? So all this mess y'all be wanting somebody to talk about, that's why I don't get into it. I might bring it in to reveal something, but I'm not bringing it in to get subscribers and likes. That's not my calling. That's not my purpose. But that same way Yeshua told Peter, your teaching, what you just been revealed, it was higher than who I am on the earth. That's what he was telling him. But the Father in heaven. You all don't believe that the Father even have heathens on the earth. You see what I'm saying? He comes down and deal with heathens one-on-one. You see? He know who his is. You can't make his who you say they are. They are who he say that they are. And that's why Peter stepped who Yeshua HaMashiach was, and he entered into a higher realm, which was from heaven. You see, heavens had opened that up in the spirit of Peter to know that. And that's the same thing with me. I try to, and all this time I've been on here trying to get people to open up the door, you all. And to the Father told me, Deborah, how you expect them to open it up and I ain't gave them the keys? See, they think they can open it up with their flesh wisdom, their flesh knowledge, their flesh understanding, their personal opinion. See, they think they can open it up, the kingdom to the kingdom with all of that. No, you can't. Because they have done it successfully. But they didn't understand. You ain't opened nothing but Satan's door up to bring more through the broad gate. And I know you made it your way. So since the broad gate has been created your way, then they're coming in through you and not through spirit and truth. Okay? So here he's saying in Revelation that there was a war. He wants you to see that there is a war. There was a war. So one thing we learned today And that is one of the greatest achievements that the Father has suffered man to accomplish was to clone. Word to clone. Just imagine a man and a woman created without the breath of life, nor the image of Yah in them. The image of Yah is a light. It is a spirit. It is not a soul. Adam could not get up without the spirit that is the image of Yah. He could not get up. Yah is not breathing his breath into flesh. Yah is not breathing his breath into a soul. Yah is breathing his breath to bring a spirit that is an image like unto him, a light. So he breathed into man, Adam, a spirit. And the spirit received the breath of Yah. Flesh and soul cannot hold the breath of life that Yah giveth. Impossible. Impossible. So you just take that breath of life that the Father has given, okay? And when he gave you the breath of life, what did he give you? A spirit. He blew into you a spirit, an image that looks just like him. That's what the breath brought into Adam. And Adam become a living spirit. The Roman Catholic put soul to confound and confuse man even to today. 100 times 100. Why? Because man does not meditate on the war of the flesh and the war of their spirit. The flesh get victory, 100. Why? Because man never knew that it's not. Did Adam, when he was created, let's go there. Genesis chapter 1, Genesis chapter 2. In Genesis chapter 2, verse 7. In Genesis chapter 2, verse 7. And Yah formed man of the dust of the ground and breathed into his nostrils the breath of life. And man became a living soul. That word soul should not be there. Okay? But it's okay that it is. Let me say that again. The soul should not have been placed there. It took the place of spirit. You know, the spirit and soul starts with an S. Okay? And if you even turn soul back and look up the word, once you turn soul backwards, you understand exactly where Sister Deborah's coming from. Mm-hmm. The word soul shall never be in your vocabulary for nothing, because it has no place in this instructions and direction book. But it do have a place. That's two. It has no place, but it do have a place. Why? Because Satan chosen his people, just as Yah had chosen his. Satan had his people. Who was Satan's people? Who was Satan's right hand? The Roman Catholics. See, you all didn't know that. Because they don't know, because they're not taught by the Holy Spirit. They're taught by their own wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. So Yah has chosen a people that he knew that would never reach the capacity of where he wanted them to be. He knew that. But only way he can show himself in the ugly people. Praise the Most High Yah. The only way he felt that he could show his power and who he is through an ugly people who constantly, from the beginning and the end, being disobedient, stiff-necked, and rebellion, and rejecting him 24/24. That's how we know that he is truly a give and gave. We know he has all the grace and mercy that we should embrace and pray and thank him for 24/24. You sit down and drink my coffee. Oh, Father, I just thank you for all that grace and mercy. You sit down and read. Oh, Father, thank you for all that grace and mercy. You constantly thanking him for all that grace and mercy. Because that's what he's poured out. Just so what? His will be filled. fulfilled. See, Yah's will can't be fulfilled until he pour out grace and mercy. Grace and mercy is allowing. Grace and mercy is allowing for the Father will to be done from the beginning to the end. You pour that grace and mercy, it's impossible for his will to be done. So don't think he didn't put grace and mercy down there for a reason. Against or pour it out on the just and the unjust, the unrighteous and the righteous. He poured all that grace and mercy out. Deborah, I got to pour it out. Oh, Father, I see why. I got to pour this grace and mercy out, Deborah. Why? So that my will can be done from the beginning and the end. Because if he pull up that grace and mercy, no way the will can be done. So when we running around here seeing and knowing that he's pouring out this grace and mercy and not thanking him for it, you sicker than sick. You are sicker than sick. And you think you know what you want. You think you know what you know, but you don't know nothing. See, the war started within before it became out. And because you don't have you don't understand the war without understanding, you don't understand nothing. And that's what you left with, nothing to understand outside of the theory and the lies and the deception of man that is ruled by the Roman Catholic and has spread it abroad so that, what did it say? Satan couldn't deceive the whole world. Not part of the world, of the whole world. So this is what you all are living on, deception. Satan deceiving you. And his right hand is the Roman Catholic. So when you read in Genesis chapter 2 and you see soul there, it ain't got no business there. Soul ain't got no business there, y'all. I don't care who's putting it here and here. It ain't got no business there because you're dealing with flesh and spirit. Let's go here. In the book of Genesis chapter 2 and verse 7, a higher formed man of the dust of the ground, and he breathed into his nostrils the breath of life. You all never understood what the breath of life is. It's not an air, you all. It is an image that is breathed into that flesh of Adam on the ground, as well as in you. Not a soul, but a spirit comes with the breath of life. And what is he giving you? A spirit, an image of himself in you. Why is he doing this? But because you study not in spirit and truth, and you study from the mouth of men and women, you are not going to be found with spirit and truth, which is the whole matter of it all. Now, when you go into Genesis chapter 1 and verse 26, let's give you a glimpse, or how would I say, give you a little light. Let's give you a little something, okay? In Genesis chapter 1, verse 26, it reads, and Yah said, let us make man in our image. Now, us got to be the same as Yah. 99 trillion don't understand us was his power, his right hand, his only begotten. Okay? That was even considered in Yah as his lamb. It came into the lamb of the sacrifice to help it, okay, walk the mission of the Father. Okay? So us is big time, y'all. Always been. And we forsaken it way back then like we way back now. Don't have no sense of knowing. Us is the right hand power of the Father. That's why he said our image. He's speaking of his own self, and his right hand is a part of him. So us. Okay, watch this. In Genesis chapter 1 and verse 26, and Yah said, let us make man in our image after our likeness. Now, the way he's going to give man an image, he's not talking about your flesh that come from the dirt. Yah is not dirt. So when people tell you you're looking at you're the image of Yah, they got it wrong. You are not the image of Yah on the outer man. You're the image of Yah on the inner man. And the image is a spirit, which sometimes is called a light. The image of Yah is a spirit. He is a spirit, and he give you an image that looks like him, which is a spirit, which is a light. Okay? Now, when he breathes the breath of life, the breath, giving the breath comes with what? Giving you a spirit that is like his spirit, a spirit. So when he breathes in the breath of life, he's breathing in you a spirit of your own for your flesh. That's why he can't let your flesh come from the dirt and worship him. He said your flesh can't worship him. Your spirit is the only place where he come into. Why? Because he gave you that along with the breath of life, blew in a spirit where he will come in you and reside. So the war within, okay, versus the war without is showing you without any understanding of the war that was, that is, and that shall be. All of it was orchestrated by the mighty right hand of the Father. And you all missed it. You see? So in Genesis chapter 1 and verse 2, it says, in Genesis chapter 1, verse 26, Yah said, let us make man in our image. There go the image. After our likeness. Our likeness is what we look like. Okay? Let's make them like we look. A spirit, which is sometimes called the light. Okay? And let them have dominion over the fish of the sea and over the fowl of the air and over the cattle and over all the earth and over every creeping thing that creep upon the earth. Verse 27, and Yah created man in his own image. Praise the mighty Yah. He gave the just as well as the unjust an image like unto him. You tell me, ain't that beautiful? He gave each and every last one of us a light, which is a spirit like unto his image. He's a spirit, so he gave us our own spirit that holds his breath. He blew it into us. Okay? So that's the only place that he will come in you and abide. So 99 trillion don't have his spirit, okay, abiding in them. They have his image, which has been given to them like unto a light, which is a spirit, but his spirit is not coming to reside inside of your spirit. And this is what the world is missing. The spirit of Yah, the Ruach of Yah residing within them. They just say that it is. They just make it. They just speak it. They just teach it, but he is without. Their spirit is anorexia. Okay? So in Genesis chapter 1, verse 27, so Yah created man in his own image, and in the image of Yah created he him. Notice he said image. He's trying to get you all to understand that he created something, okay, in man that is an image of him, which is his spirit. He did not tell you a soul. He did not tell you the soul. The Roman Catholic put it there. And for man to accept the fact that a soul should not have been said and that the Roman Catholic put it there, guess what? They would have to forsake all their teaching. And they're not going to do that. And before they do that, they will curse the fact that soul does belong there. Oh, it is a soul, and it is a soul, and it is a soul. They would refuse to rekindle or switch that thing over to spirit and truth. They're not going to do it. Man is not going to, in the year 2023, 24, and 25, and 26, and 27, they're not coming to reverse out of a lie. They're not coming to switch the deception of Satan of the whole world. They're not coming to switch it. Why? Because they love that darkness the way that it is. They love that, hey, I can get subscribers and likes and praise teaching people darkness. I don't need no light. See, because that's what's in them. And see, they think their war, in which they consider a war, is a war. Those are wars with no understanding. The true war is within. Okay? The true war is within. While you trying to fight the wars on the outside, the war of what somebody done to you, the war of what somebody said about you, the war of what somebody's teaching, the war of what somebody not teaching, the war of what somebody doing, a war of what somebody eating, the war of somebody dressing, the war of somebody wrapping their head, the war of somebody doing what you created within yourself, in your own flesh, wisdom and knowledge, there's a war within you because you miss the true war that started before the beginning, in the beginning. Okay, so here he's talking in Genesis chapter 26, 27, and 28. He says in 27, and Yah created man in his own image. Well, what is the image of Yah? It's a spirit, you guys. He said, I created man, Deborah, in my image. We can't look over here to Genesis chapter 2 and verse 7 and call the image of Yah is a form of the dust of the ground. How dare you? How dare you? We can't tell people that's his image. We can't run this down and tell people his image is a soul. How dare you? His image is a spirit. And that was what the Roman Catholic took out of here and did an excellent job. And it's no way they could have done that without Yah allowing them to. To take spirit out and put soul, to confound the whole world. Excellent job. Excellent job. Okay, so here in Genesis chapter 26, 27, and 28, let's go to 28. And he said, no, let's finish 27. And Genesis chapter 1 and verse 27, so Yah created man in his own image, and in the image of Yah created he him. Male and female created them. Bam, there it is. What created man? What created the image of Yah? It created male and female. It created them. What did he create first? The image, then the flesh of man and the flesh of woman. See, y'all got it bent up and bent down. See, the image of man and woman was in the word of Yah. What do you mean? It was spoken by Yah through what? The word was it spoken. Was it created? Nope, not yet. How? In the beginning was the word was with Yah, the word was Yah, and it was with him in the beginning. See, we didn't step all on top of the word and decided to teach this thing out of the flesh realm without giving the true glory to he that created all things from the beginning through the word. Yah always wanted us to understand the word. And we forsake the word as we forsake the power. We forsake the word as we forsake the power. So when I went into John, the Gospel of John, and I started hearing this stuff called, let me go there. And I started backing up in the Father. I said, wait a minute, why you sounding so harsh? That's the way I felt. That's how I felt, you guys. I felt the power of how it was said. And I'm going to show you how I felt it. I'm going to say it like I felt it. Okay. When I saw the Gospel of John years ago, and I saw this, and I read, I said, okay, in the Gospel of John, chapter 1, it says, in the beginning was the word. Okay. And I'm going to show you how I felt that thing. In the beginning was the word. And the word was with Yah. And the word was Yah. Verse 2, the same was in the beginning with Yah. What I see and feel when I read the Gospel of John, verse 1, I don't see it like you all. I don't feel it like you all. I feel fierce. I feel anger. I feel power punch. He has every right. And I'm glad that he gave me an opportunity in the flesh to be able to feel that thing. Because as I stand here today, I realize that they don't have the keys to teach you all. Because this word got to be felt. I felt this, y'all, years ago. I felt fierce. I felt like it was something very powerful trying to make a statement. And it is. Because in Genesis chapter 1, We missed the word. Look at Genesis. Look at the John. Look at the Gospel of John, y'all. Look at it. Notice that even though this book been printed up over and over and over, it can't hide the power. That's the thing about it, y'all. Everything in this book, a lot of it been tampered with. But what I understand out of it is the power. That's why he tells me when you see the slanted, Deborah, dig deep. When you see the stars, dig deep. When you see the dark stars and the empty stars, dig deep. That's the power showing me that this here is my finger right here. Dig deep. So when I get to the Gospel of John and I see the one, I don't see it like y'all see it. I don't feel it like y'all feel it. You know, and the more and more I live, I realize that it takes endurance. You need the spirit of endurance. You need the spirit of long suffering to hold you up. Because you know you teaching one, not so much as teaching, you speaking. You're not even teaching. You're speaking the anointed word of the Most High Yah in its highest riches that you're going to find on earth. And all the heads are turned here. Just imagine those disciples, not them disciples, the prophets back in the days, coming out to teach, and all they had was people going in the opposite way. I understand why they left out of here, you all, at a young age. Just like Yeshua. He came in and they went out. Why? Because the mindset of the people and how Satan had deceived the world so heavy to where what it's time for the mission from the heavens to be performed. Satan had the whole world deceived. So you have to come down here and speak to the whole world that's deceived. That's a feeling, y'all. That's a sadness. But yet you got to stay in tune because you know he created you to have a lane. Okay? So when I see, as a prophetess in the wilderness, when I'm reading the Gospel of John, I'm seeing beyond seeing. I don't see like y'all see. I don't understand like y'all understand. I feel that thing. And when I see the Gospel of John chapter 1, in the beginning was the word. I see the power behind that word. Look how it's capitalized. Look how the W is capital. The word is standing just as tall as the word Yah. And now one of y'all probably ever thought to look at that. It's not a lowercase word. It's an uppercase. It's sending this prophet the mystery. That it is power in what I'm saying, Deborah. You getting it right. You're running in your lane perfect. And just because those on your left and your right and in the back and call themselves running in the front, where you can see how they stupidity is all out of order, and they ain't got no business near the front, but they running in the front for Satan. And you see them. So I say it to you all, listening to the Gospel of John chapter 1, circle how many times the word W-O-R-D is in there in verse 1. Okay? And circle how many times the word Yah is in 1 and 2. You notice they matching? Because they're one of the same, y'all. Carrying the same authority, the same righteous, and the same power. It's no way you're going to be able to come up before the throne of the Most High Yah and not have no respect for his word. It's no way you're going to be able to stand before the Most High Yah and even down in this hellhole and think you're going to stand before him without his power. You're going to have to feel this thing. And if you don't feel it, that's on you. It's because you ain't meant to feel nothing but numbness in which Satan had spread it abroad, you all. So when I step into the Gospel of John, the first and second chapter, I'm looking at the word, and I'm looking at it in a different way. And the only reason why I'm looking at it in a different way, because I've been taught from the wilderness. I have been taught by the flesh. I've been taught by the Spirit. Okay? So I'm taught to see the mystery. I'm taught to see the word as it was in the beginning. Not the word as you know it, as you read it, as you study it, as you learn it, as you understand it. That's that war without understanding. I understand the war with and without. That's what Peter was saying when he told him who he was. And it wasn't because Peter knew who he was, it's because Yah was telling not only Peter, but he was telling Yeshua something. When Peter pulled up and said, "You are the son of the living Yah," Yeshua stepped back. Wait a minute. Flesh and blood didn't reveal that to you. I did not reveal that to you, my disciple. But the Father, he turned it right back over to who? The throne. Why would the throne reveal to Peter without informing Yeshua? Because Yah can do that. He rumbles this time. This is when you know and you can see, you can smell his power. You can feel that thing. And see, he sat there and he showed Peter from the heaven. The heavens opened up from the throne and gave Peter the answer. To answer who? The Son of Man. See, y'all don't get it. Even though as Peter and I are one with Yeshua, we are one. Still in that main mission of the Father. We just work different positions in which he has called us to. Okay? So here in the Gospel of John, I want you to see where y'all messed up with my Father again and again and again and again into the eternal. Into the eternal, yeah. Because that's where the end is at. In which book you are written. So that's why your works are already written in heaven. It ain't what you think you doing down here. It's what y'all already know who you were in the heaven. And he already written the books. So you see how I say all the time, y'all just down here clowning. Because the heavens already got the book of life and the books that are written. You can go to Revelation chapter 20 and it breaks all that stuff down. In a sense of letting y'all know, y'all ain't doing nothing on me. I hold it all. And I feel sad when I used to read the Gospel of John chapter 1 and chapter 2 because I can feel something that you all cannot. And that's to me, that's not a good feeling because it's like saying to Deborah, I'm making a statement. I'm sealing something. And I felt that. I felt that. I always did. Why do y'all think I always run to John, the Gospel of John, chapter 1, verse 1 through 5? I always run there, and I'm going to run there again before the night's out. So here we are. Let's go back to Genesis chapter 1. Now I want you to see in Genesis, I want you to see in verse 26 where Yah said. Now when you hear Yah said, you got to understand the word let. Us make man. First the word, W-O-R-D, capital W-O-R-D speaks. Okay? And let is the power that's going to bring forth the word. Once the word is spoken, the power bring it forth. You see? So here he said, and it says, watch this here. And verse 27, Genesis chapter 1 and 27. So Yah created man in his own image, and in his image of Yah created he, him, male and female created them. Now, hear his word telling you how he created. How did he create it? You go back to John chapter 1 and verse 2. How I created, tell him. In the beginning, was not that in the beginning in Genesis? Was not that beginning in Genesis? In the beginning, was not that in Genesis the beginning? Let's do that again, Deborah. In the beginning, was that not in the beginning of Genesis 20, in Genesis period? In the beginning, Genesis chapter 1. In the beginning, John, the Gospel of John chapter 1. In the beginning, Genesis chapter 1. In the beginning, John chapter 1. In the beginning, Genesis chapter 1. In the beginning, John chapter 1. The Gospel of John chapter 1. In the beginning, Genesis chapter 1. In the beginning, John chapter 1. In the beginning, Genesis chapter 1. What happened? The Gospel of John chapter 1. In the beginning, the Word. In the beginning, let the Word. He said. That means the Word was spoken in the beginning. And when the Word was spoken, it said in Genesis chapter 6, and Yah said, which is the Word was spoken. This is the war that is within versus the war without understanding. Genesis chapter 1, verse 26. And Yah said, let us make man in our own image, after our likeness. That was the word spoken. We would rather hear the word out of the horse mouth of these men and women than to hear the true word, capital W-O-R-R, capital W-O-R-D, spoken of the Most High Yah. That's why all of us are lost. That ain't us. That's why a lot of y'all are lost right today. You hearing the word of this flesh. Poor guy come to my comment talking about the Hebrew Israelite men have to fight for the truth. Baby, you can't find one scripture. But that's the elders telling you all to get out there and fight, because Yah is going to allow you to lose your life. It's all in scripture. Isaiah, Ezekiel, and Jeremiah telling you how these men are going to lose their lives. Following behind who? Their shepherds and their leaders. You're going to lose your life. Think about it. In Egypt, when Yah was coming out of Egypt, you got to the promised land. Did not the elders die in the wilderness? They never came out. You're not coming out of Babylon, bro. I'm sorry to tell you all, women that following behind them, y'all not coming out of Babylon. You're not coming out. Just as the elders were left in the wilderness and the children took off to go to the promised land. Did you ever think of how the elders felt about the children leaving to go with Joshua to the promised land? Do you ever thought of how they must have felt in the wilderness, even Moses and Aaron being left behind, never making it to the place in which they've been struggling to get to? How about that? How about that? That if that didn't tamper into your spirit, man, to wake you up, I don't know what can. You see, don't play with him today and thinking you getting up going somewhere when he comes. He gonna lead your butt right in Babylon. You ain't going nowhere. You ain't done nothing since you've been here, 400 years plus, that represent him. You did stuff to represent your camp, your leader, your church, your household, your page, your YouTube, your Patreon. You did all that. But you ain't never brought what spirit and truth was all about in the beginning. So here, I want to get to this Genesis 1 and verse 26, because he's speaking of his image. Y'all want me to say to you today that just like in the Gospel of John, chapter 1, verse 1, chapter 1, verse 1 and 2, in the beginning, Genesis is the beginning. In the beginning was the Word. In the beginning, you all missed it. It was the Word being spoken. And you all let these men disrespect, dishonor the word of Yah. You did it intentionally, because guess what? It's plainly seen. Now listen to how they disrespected. In Genesis chapter 1, Yah said, what was he saying? The word. See how the word was here? When you get to Genesis chapter 1 and verse 3. Genesis chapter 1 and verse 3. And Yah said. What was that? What was he saying? He was speaking the word. That's why it tells you in John, in the beginning was the word, and the word was with Yah, and the word was Yah, and it was with him at the beginning. Here is the beginning in Genesis 1 and 2. That's why he said, Deborah, if they miss Genesis 1 and 2, they'd have missed this whole book. And now, being where I'm at today, in the last 5 or 6 years, I see it 100. And that's why I can accept it's over. It's finished. 400 plus years, which it has been longer than 400. It's been thousands of years, but you're not going to get it. But he knew it. That's why he made two gates. Two. Two. A narrow one and a broad. And he said, Deborah, they won't find it. They won't find it. Okay? So what happens in Genesis chapter 1 and verse 3, that's the word, y'all. That's what the men never taught y'all. That the word was present in the beginning, just like the Gospel of John referred to. The word carried just as much as power than the power itself. The word represents who Yah is and who Yah was and who Yah going to be. And we missed the word because we wanted the word out of the rotten mouth men in the flesh. Mm, mm, mm. And we didn't want the word of the Spirit. Forgive us, Father. Forgive us, Father Yah. We didn't want the word of the Spirit. And we settled for the word of the flesh. So as we go into Genesis chapter 1, verse 26, he said unto me, now, this is why it was so easy for them to throw away my word, Deborah, and lived Satan's word and their flesh word out because they didn't want to abide by the word. And a lot of you all don't understand. When you mess with the word, you mess with the power. And when you mess with the power, you mess with the Spirit. And when you mess with the Spirit, you mess with Yah. They are one. They are one. They're the self-same. So if we drop the word, we missed it. That's the war within versus the war without understanding. And this is why it's so easy for you hear these people on this devil platform video and what happened in all over the world. They always video and the wars and the issue between male and female and the issue between black and white and the issue between this and this and this. Wait a minute. What about the word? What about the word that was, that is, that shall be? I remember when I first got on here, that's all I talked about was that which was, is, and because I thought that everybody had the keys, y'all. I didn't know that the keys wasn't given to everyone. I had to learn that during the time I was on this YouTube. No, Deborah, everybody's not given the keys. And he that is given the keys are the least and the less listened to. People won't get behind those who have the keys because it's been messed up from the floor from the beginning. When what? When the word was and the word is. And the word shall be because it was present at the beginning. Now come go with me in the word and hear how men has destroyed in the flesh of men and women the word. So as we get into Genesis chapter 1 and verse 26, I see here when Yah said, let us make man in our image, our likeness, and let them have dominion over the fish of the sea and over the fowl of the air and over the cattle and over all the earth and over the creeping things that creep upon the earth. Now we go to verse 27. So Yah created in his own image, in the image of Yah created he, him, him, male and female created them. Yah said to me to tell y'all the whole purpose of his word speaking this. It's not going to come back. His word is not coming back, boy. What do that mean? When we stand before that altar, the word in which was spoken then and throughout is going to be stand. It's not going to buckle up to the meaning of the flesh. It's not going to buckle up to the meaning of Satan. It's not going to buckle up to the meaning of the understanding of your leaders. It's going to come back as it went out. Praise the mighty God. The word is going to come back the way that it went out. Okay. Now, how did it go out? So Yah created in his own image, and in the image of Yah created he him. Male and female created them. Watch this here. Them. Watch this here. Verse 8. And Yah blessed them. Who is them? Male and female. Watch this here. And Yah said unto who? Them. He's letting you know. Twos. He's saying to two, male and female. Be fruitful, multiply, replenish the earth, subdue it, have dominion over the fish of the sea and over the fowl of the air and over all living things that move upon the earth. He's given them dominion. Man has taken dominion away from woman and made it his. That's the word. This is what he means in the beginning. So when you pull up in the new, you wonder what he's saying. Why are you so fierce? Why are you talking about in the beginning was the word, and the word was with Yah, and the word was Yah, and the same was in the beginning with Yah? What are you talking about? He had to break that thing down. He said, because the power of what I was saying still holds up today, Deborah. So when I say that one word will not pass away, I don't care, Deborah, if they switched it up, switched it on the side, and switched it down. My word is my power. My word is my spirit. My word is me, the Father. And when I spoke it, they deleted it in the life that they live. Now, in this word, he said the dominion. It was always the earth where he created, and he gave us the earth. It was for man and woman to have the power of it thereof. So this is why you see them hating women so much. They want to keep you silent. They want to do away with your voice. They don't want you to exert yourself. What about what the word said in the beginning? Before sin even came on the scene, said the Most High God. Say it again, Deborah. Before sin even came, before I even allowed Satan to be made and created, my word stood. That's what I said. Heaven and earth, Deborah, shall pass away. But that word in which I spoke it from the beginning to the end shall stand. So we can sit around these here monkey mouth men and monkey mouth women all day long, 24/24. When we finish, we are about the flesh because we learned from the flesh. We comprehend from the flesh. We took flesh wisdom, flesh knowledge, and flesh understanding and made it a religion, a belief in the tribes. You think y'all caught up on your tribes? Never was. The war is in the spirit. It's not in the flesh. Only, listen to this. Only thing in the flesh is the flesh. Only thing in the spirit is of the spirit. You see? So you can't make the things that flesh want to boast and boost and put first and say and do override the order of the spirit. And that's how the word got destroyed in us, because we chose the flesh way of understanding instead of the word that was already spoken. Who comes to back up the word? When he blew into us a spirit, he knew that that's the only way he gonna come in us, is to abide in the spirit in which he had blown in you, not your soul. There's no such thing. The Roman Catholic put it there. So when you get to Genesis chapter 1, verse 26, 27, 28, it tells a whole story of the word that the Father wants you to know. So all this time, Sister Deborah been teaching that in the beginning in Genesis chapter 1, verse 3, the word. And Yah said, the word spoke. And Yah said, the word spoke. In Genesis chapter 1, verse 6. And Yah said, the word spoke. And Yah said in Genesis chapter 1, verse 9, the word spoke. And Yah said, Genesis 1, verse 11, and Yah spoke, the word spoke. And what else? in Genesis chapter 1 and verse 14, and Yah said, the word spoke. Okay? In Genesis chapter 20, Yah said, and the word spoke. In Genesis chapter 24, the word spoke. In Genesis chapter 26, the word spoke. What backed up the word? Let's go back. What backed up the word? In Genesis chapter 1, verse 3, let there be. Let. He was ushering in the power. In Genesis chapter 1, verse 6, the word spoke, and let was commissioning the power. Okay? In Genesis chapter 9, the word spoke, and the power backed it up. In Genesis chapter 11, the word spoke, and the power backed it up. In Genesis chapter 1 and verse 14, the word spoke, and the power backed it up. In Genesis chapter 20, the word spoke, and the power backed it up. In Genesis chapter 1:24, the word spoke, and the power backed it up. In Genesis chapter 26, the word spoke and revealed itself as us, because the power had to create us. And that's where the word spoke in Genesis chapter 26, and the power bagged it up. See, y'all missed it. Y'all missed it. So when you get to the Gospel of John, that's why that Pharisee is there. What you mean, Deborah, in the beginning? Unless you know. Go back, Deborah. Go back, Deborah. Right now, Deborah. Go back to Genesis chapter 1 and start off where the word spoke. And then he said, in the beginning was the word. Let them know that the word was spoken. And the word was with Yah, that the word is Yah. Say, and the word was Yah, and it was Yah before the beginning. Hallelujah. And verse 2 of Gospel of John, chapter 1 and verse 2, same was in the beginning with Yah. You can't escape it, y'all. Y'all lied all this time. And the word spoke that the dominion of this earth was given to male and female. They still lying from the garden. A lot of things has been erased. And it wasn't that Yah didn't know it. He knew that as long as he keep what's in this book, the finger of his writing, all will be well with his. They will find their way. And others won't find their way. You know why I know that's a known fact? Here we are in the year of 2023. It is matching the narrow gate is the way to life, and few shall find. So it's matching. See, this is what I'm saying to you all. You all are being taught in a way that you need to be taught, because you never follow the word. Respect. See, that's the thing about it. All my papers have fallen. I got to continue because I got to complete this. So when you end up, let's go on back to Genesis chapter 2. Okay, and when you go up in Genesis chapter 2 and verse 7, you should understand something. Now watch this here. In Genesis chapter 2 and verse 7, we talked about it. And Yah formed. Now the power is forming. That which what? The word spoke. Now what happened in Genesis what happened in Genesis 1 is different than Genesis 2. Okay? What happens in Genesis 1 that's different than Genesis 2? Big difference, y'all. Big difference. In Genesis 1, the power and the word of Yah and Yah himself created it by his word. And when Yah can create by his word, that means it was created in the spirit realm first. And in Genesis chapter 2, now it's finna come forth. in Genesis 1. So the spirit word and the spirit power was created in Genesis 1, and now the flesh part, it coming forth in the sight to the earth in Genesis 2. So, there go 2. The spirit always override the natural. What do you mean? Let's go. In Genesis chapter 2, verse 7, and Yah formed man of the dust. But before he even formed man of the dust, what happened? Go back to Genesis chapter 2 and verse 6. But there went up a mist from the earth and watered the whole face of the ground. Okay. And Yah formed man of the dust of the ground. Now his right hand is forming man of the dust of the ground. Now it's bringing onto the earth a form of dust of the ground together. Now you think that form that is dust on the ground can override the image that was spoken through the word? If so, you sicker than sick. See, what was spoken by the word in the spirit was in Genesis 1. And now we over in Genesis 2. Now it's finna manifest itself on the earth. That was what? Already spoken in the word. So that leads you to understand the word that was spoken by the word of Yah. And his power overrides that which you see in the natural. That's how it is today. No one wants to accept that like that. They think the power of the mouth of men and women is greater than the word of Yah. That's why they can't distinguish in this book that it's only to study, to show yourself. You ain't showing Yah, and you ain't got no business showing nobody. You need the Ruach to be the spirit that leads you and guides you and rightly divide what is truth and what is not. But you can't do that because you're so busy listening to the voice of the word of man and can't hear the word of Yah. Even if it's through his service, you can't hear it. Because only thing pleases your flesh is the word that comes and proceeds out of the mouth of man versus the word that proceeds out of his servant. Because you ain't used to hearing Yah's servants, you used to hearing the flesh of man. Okay, so here in chapter 2 of Genesis is different than chapter 1 because the work is now being put forth even after the word has already spoken. The word spoken in the spirit, okay? And what is happening in Genesis 2 is it's coming forth what the word had already spoken. You see, that's why we can't disrespect Genesis 1 and 2. We can look in here and see what the Satan has smeared because of what it's saying. You know, by if you're in the spirit realm and you walking in the word of Yah, you can see where Satan has stuck his words in. But without that, you ain't gonna be able to see that, y'all. You ain't gonna be able to see it without the Holy Spirit. So here you can see, watch this here. In Genesis chapter 2 and verse 7, and Yah formed man of the dust of the ground and breathed into his nostrils the breath of life. Let's go to the going back. Let's go back to John, the Gospel of John. Now watch this here. I'm gonna show you how 99 point trillion had it wrong all the time. Now I know Sister Deborah is putting too much on you because most of you all are not ready for this, but I think I'm gonna make this my one of my final videos before I come back, unless something take place where the Father wants me to come back, then I come back. But I'm sending this as a very power punch food, and it's going to take a lot to digest. So when you get to Genesis chapter 2 and verse 7, higher, when Yah formed man of the dust of the ground and breathed into his nostrils the breath of life, and man became a living soul. Where you know soul don't belong there, and that I don't know how Satan knew. He had to have, because he's a spirit as well. So I can see. I can see now. He had them to place the word soul there. So you will focus on a living soul and not on a living spirit. Okay. Yah is not bringing his breath, which is a spirit, into anyone to hook up with soul. Only way Yah's breath can hook up is to a spirit, which is an image of his. He is an image, and he gave you an image. He is an image that is like unto a light. He is an image of a spirit. And his spirit, okay, he transformed forward a image, an image. He didn't transfer his own self. He gave you an image of him. What will be the image? A spirit, a light. That's it. And he breathed it in. That's how he got it in you. Flesh didn't have it already, because flesh is made from the ground, the dirt. Things that are spirit has nothing to do with things that are flesh. That's why I try to tell you it's two: flesh and spirit. Soul ain't got no business up in here. Okay, that's where you knew the Roman Catholic. So Satan is the one that sold, like the terror came into the weak. I can see that being the terror among the weak. When you wake up, there it is. And I can see when people wake up to reading the book, there they see soul, and it should have been spirit. Because with the breath of life comes your own light, which is a spirit. Spirit is light, light is spirit. Yah's image is of a spirit, like unto a light. Okay? So when he breathed the breath of life, and man became a living spirit. The reason why you can't see why it's not so is because the power of he that soweth the terror, whole mission is to deceive the world. And what way can they deceive us? Through books. That's why we needed the Holy Spirit, because we have also, as Satan come to deceive the whole world, we too were deceived. But through the light are we awakened. That's why I say that they're not awakened to. Only thing they're awakened to is to wake up to be stupid. That's it. And that's just like still asleep, dead. Okay? So here we see verse 7 of Genesis chapter 2 and verse 7. You see the breath of life. It doesn't tell you what is actually going on, but it tells you enough. Why? Because when the Ruach comes, it gives you the fullness. The breath of life is blown into you, not just for the air, the breath of the Most High Yah, but to breathe in you a spirit, which is an image like unto him. So now you're living on flesh and spirit. And what else have the both of those parts going? The breath that's blown into the spirit to give the flesh life. Flesh don't have life. His spirit has the life, which is the breath. That's why Adam set his tail down on that ground until the breath of life were blown in and given him a spirit. Instead, the Roman Catholic put on here a living soul. No, it's a living spirit, because now the spirit, which is the image of Yah, has given you his breath to that spirit in which he has given you. That's the only place the Holy Spirit, which is the Ruach, come to abide in your spirit. But if you live on a lifestyle of flesh and soul, you will never gain. You will never gain the Ruach, because the Ruach comes in a place that you are aware of. You have to be aware of your spirit being present in your flesh. You have to be aware of the fact that I got to get my flesh under the subjection. 99.9 don't even understand that same dirt that Adam was created of. That was his worst enemy. It is your worst enemy. Your flesh is your worst enemy. And we're going to cover that. I'm not getting off this topic until I am completed. I don't care what time it is. Go to another page. Okay? So what is happening is, first and foremost, I see that it was taken out the spirit, so that you today in the year 2023, as well as thousands of years, they never thought that they had an inner man that was living on the breath of life, and that was the spirit. Let me explain to you how it goes. It's like when your life, when the Father takes his breath back, it goes back to his bosom. Then both go down. Flesh go down and your spirit. Because your spirit now don't have the breath of life. So when it go down, the flesh automatically go down. Because without the spirit, the flesh is dead. So where do the flesh go? Back to the dirt in which it comes. And where do the spirit go? It goes to a place of rest, of sleep. Okay? That is the only thing that's going to stand before the throne of Yah. And the book of life is going to be in there, and the book of death. The books of death. You are in one or the other. When? Before the foundation of the world. And because you don't understand the word that has the power of the Father that been put forth, you know the word of man and woman, that is the flesh that Adam was made of, the ground. You know that part, but you are without understanding of that which is within. Okay, so therefore, here it is in Genesis chapter 2 and verse 7. The problem with this one here is they don't understand something was living. Something made man become a living. It's not so. It's only a spirit, which is the light, which is the image of Yah. Let me show you where. When you get to the Gospel of John, chapter 1, and verse 4 and 5. When you get to the Gospel of John, chapter 1, verse 4 and 5, it reads, in him was life. There go the life. It was in Yah. That was the breath. It was in Yah. That was the breath. And the life he wanted was the light of men. M-E-N. M-E-N. So what he's saying in the Gospel of John, chapter 1 and verse 4, in him, in Yah, was life. What was life consist of? Here it is. And the life was a light. It was not a soul. Life was a L-I-G-H-T. That's a spirit. So it was not a soul that made man living. A soul was not what made man living. Just imagine, here it is to 2023, and you say you're awakened and don't even know the truth of the whole matter. That word stands taller and higher than you can even imagine. It was spoken, he brought it forth, and we took it and smeared it up and down. So when I blame the Roman Catholic for a lot of things that they're done and they have done, and they're still doing today, and they are the movement, the right hand of Satan, I still blame us as individuals who seeing it plain and clear and still a walk into it and walk out, walk straight into darkness and live therein. So let's go back to the Gospel of John, chapter 1, verse 4. It's telling you a lot about Genesis chapter 2. Now listen to this. It says, in him was life. Life was in Yah. Okay. What was life? Listen to what life was. And the life was and is and shall always be the light. Life, which is the breath of life, is a light, which is, it brings in a spirit. So you won't just be flesh. Don't way your flesh gonna come up. It's once that spirit has received the breath. When you get the breath, he's blowing into you a spirit. Okay? And what does it say? Of life, a light. He's giving you a light, which is a spirit. When he's blowing that breath in you, he's giving you a light, which is a spirit, which is likened to his spirit, an image. It's an image of Yah. Yah is a spirit, and he's giving you an image of himself. And what is that? He's the capital light, and you're the lowercase light that was blown into you. And what? Of men. So he gives us a spirit, our own spirit. In the book of Genesis, chapter 2, in verse 7 says, a soul. If people would really understand how that was put in there to deceive, because a lot of people today don't know. Now, say if it's put in there and people look at it as spirit, but you don't understand how many trillions of people have taken on soul and not spirit, because those are two different things. One soul don't even need to be in there, because it's only the judgment is for the grave, for the flesh, and for the spirit is going to be the lake of hell, or the Lamb Book of Life. So there's a battle, there's a war right there. What is the war? People believing that the soul has its place, and it should never been even mentioned. Where did it come from? The mouth of men who have breathed that mess in the ears, in the minds, and in the hearts of people. And they have lived by it. Soul, 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 soul. Take that soul out and put spirit, you might find your way home. How about that? How about that? Now watch this here. That's why he say the gate that is narrow leads to life. What do you mean, Father? Deborah, life is the light that leads them to it. And if they don't understand they got a light, then how are they going to be led to life? And that's why the power punch is very few shall find what Sister Deborah is saying. Because that's the few. And because I'm one of the few, I will be looked at as not knowing what I'm saying, knowing what I'm teaching. No. And that's good, because I got a lane. Where is yours? Satan lane? You running behind him? The broad gate? All right, I get it. What's up with your lane? How about that? Okay, so here you go, is a light. So he's letting you know that I give you my image. It's a light, it's a spirit. There it is in the Gospel of John, chapter 1, verse 4, exactly what was going on in Genesis chapter 2, verse 7, outside of the Roman Catholics switching the light / the spirit and putting soul. So what happened? When you get to verse 5, it tells the story. Again, it says what? Gospel of John, chapter 1, verse 5. And the light shineth in darkness, and the darkness comprehend it not. Why? Because the war within versus the war without understanding. There you go. People don't understand your flesh is warring against your spirit. And your spirit is losing. Your flesh is winning. Because you don't know spirit and truth. You don't know the truth of the matter of anything. You don't know that your spirit is supposed to be working with the Ruach. And your Ruach, the Ruach of the Most High Yah, is going to get you to train your flesh to put it under the subjection. But you can't do that. That's why nothing can't be defeated in your flesh, because you don't know the power of how your spirit is willing to do the will of the Father, or to have the Father abiding in it. But you said, no, I don't want it. I'm enjoying this flesh ways. So the spirit is anorexic. It just sits over there to the wayside. Let's see the Gospel of John, chapter 1 and verse 5. What is it saying? And the light shineth in darkness, and the darkness comprehend it not. What do you mean? It's saying that your light is in you, and it's 100% working. Why? Because y'all put it there. It's going to work. It's going to shine. But what, Deborah? Tell them. But they flesh won't even comprehend that they have a spirit. So you drop down to the Gospel of John, chapter 9, and it talks about that was the true light, which is Yah, which lit it, past tense, lit it, every man that come into the world. So when you having women and you having men that's carrying all these lights, in the Gospel of John, chapter 1 and verse 4, is telling you how the light, the men are carrying. That's the sperms. They just that ignorant, y'all. They just that ignorant. They just that ignorant. They just that ignorant. They just that blind. They just that deaf. They don't understand that. The Gospel of John, chapter 1 and verse 4, makes a man sit down and shut his mouth until he get it right. Why? Because it lets him know that your sperms is carrying the light. Your sperms are carrying the light. And when one of those light enter into the womb of a woman and she incubated, notice that the woman nourishes and protects that one light. When you spill many other lights, even when you're masturbating and doing other things, wet dreams and all, you spilling all kind of lights in your bed, in your mattress. That's why he said the same 7 days a woman on her cycle is a 7 days a man must have when he is releasing those sperms. 7 days away from everybody. Same way. Changing a mattress, changing the covers. Why? Because blood has been spilled, and men don't even have the sense enough to know that they're carrying blood with the light. That's sad. They don't understand them masturbating is blood, just like a woman's cycle. Why is a woman's cycle matching a man masturbating and shedding all sperms all over his mattress? Why is that any difference? It's the same way as in abortion. They are aborting the light, blood, masturbating. And the woman is aborting one, and they aborting 1,000. There it is. The Gospel of John, chapter 1, verse 4. And in him was life, in Yah. And the life was the spirits, which is the light of men. The light rests in men, of the children. So woman is the one that keeps it alive. She's still the one that nourishes it and protects it. They don't even have sense enough to realize that. When you're destroying her and making her somebody on the outside so the other men can see who she is on the outside, you done forgot there's an inside versus an outside understanding. See, the men understand the outside, but they don't understand the inside. The inside is spiritual. The spiritual purpose of a woman being your helpmeet is to bring that life that has that light forth. And without her, you can't do it. So it's not good that man shall be one day alone on this earth without woman. It's not good for many a reason. They'll never get it. Because if they miss Genesis 1 and 2, they miss the whole book. Said the Most High Yah. Because they missed my word, Deborah. That's why. My word was stern and powerful. Backed up by my power was my word spoken out of my own mouth. And they missed it. So here we are in John chapter 1 and verse 9. And this is what it said. That was the true light, which lit every man that coming into the world. See, a child that comes into the world, meaning birth, after they're birthed and brought into the world, okay, then that's when the breath takes its course. It don't take the course while it's in a woman because it's living on her breath. But when it comes into, listen what it says, when it comes into the world. So a lot of times when you're talking about even abortion, you have to be able to detach abortion. If you have to attach abortion with masturbating, it's the same thing, except for men are aborting thousands and women are aborting one. It's no different. So if you're gonna measure one and make one look bad, you got to measure a higher standard in the one that's masturbating because he's destroying also the light. See, he said the light, verse 4, John 1 and verse 4, the light of man. He gave men the light. It's in your womb. He gave you your life. It has a spirit. And the life that's in you are of spirit. That's why when you look through the telescopes, you see all these lights. You see sperms as little lights moving all over the place. Like it's really something going on. Who gives them that? Come on now, man. Who give you that? Now, woman over on the left side. If they take sperms out of your masturbating state, and look at them, you see all this life, all going around, moving around. Who gave them that? Who put that there? See, they don't want to see righteous because they miss my Father's word, and I hate that. They miss Genesis. The Gospel of John, chapter 1 and verse 2. Chapter 1, verse 1 and verse 2. They miss that. They miss all of this here because they're hearing it out of the mouth of the flesh. So that's the war. There's a war within versus a war without understanding. A war in itself. So we caught up in the world war. He said, not be of the world, be in it, but don't be of it. These Negroes and these females on this devil platform telling you everything greater about the world just in the name of subscribers in life. The opposite of what he said not to be. But they don't see nothing wrong with it. They think they got to get that check. They chasing a check around the tree. So I wanted to bring that forth because of where I'm going now. Where I'm going now is stepping into the image of Yah and the likeness. They come together. You have to separate them from the dust of the ground. We cannot take the flesh, which is the dust of the ground, and put it with the breath of life as also the spirit and make this greater than this. Why? Because in the beginning, the word spoke of his image and his likeness being created. He spoke that in the spirit realm before he brought it forth in the flesh to connect with the flesh. So the right is the war that's actually within. And the war without no understanding has connected with the war within. And it's all about the war without understanding. It's what people are living on. Because here he spoke the word. The word was in the beginning. The word was with Yah. The word was Yah. And the word was in the beginning. In a sense, letting you know, before there was anything, there was the word. He spoke it with the power, backing it up. Before he brought Adam of the dust and the dirt, he spoke it in the spiritual realm. So in chapter of Genesis 2, here he come bringing Adam in the flesh, connecting the spiritual word spoken with the fleshly man. You see, you got a war within versus a war without understanding. So he connects them two together. And we forsaken the word that brought forth life and the image of Yah in every man, woman, boy, and girl. And we just took on flesh to be all that and some, to the point where we gave the flesh a helping hand, which is soul. What do we do with the spirit? What did we do with what the word said? That he had an image, his likeness, which is a spirit. What happened to it being born through the breath? What happened? We kicked it to the curb and we placed soul so that you can be deceived. Okay, now here we go. Now, so we learned about the dust, the dirt of the ground, and the breath of life, which is the spirit, and how there's two. On the right hand is the will, the word, and the power of Yah. On the left hand is the dust and the ground that was created by Yah. He brought them two together. And this is what you see on the earth today. We're serving the flesh and not the spirit of the word that was spoken before the flesh exists. The reason why he separate what he spoke, because he wanted you to respect the word and the power. But we didn't. We took on Adam as dirt and flesh, and we respect the dirt of the flesh over the breath of life that came with the spirit And we turned around, flesh turned around and changed spirit, man becoming a living spirit to soul to make sure you don't have no connection to what the word was spoken in Genesis 1, chapter 26, 27. That's why the power of the word was spoken as woman and man having the authority on the earth. Man took that out and made it about men and not about them. See, the word, when it spoke, everything it spoke, it poured, the word spoke, the power poured it forth, right? Now, when the word spoke and the power poured it forth, there was no sin. See, y'all didn't know that, did you? Satan didn't have no dominion. That came on down the line. So you see how y'all took on the flesh over the spirit? The spirit spoke everything into existence, and the power of his right hand brought it forth. And you all look strictly at Adam's from the dirt of the ground and praise that. That's what you do today. You took the dirt of the ground today and praise it and glorify it and magnify it, even on these devil platforms. You listen at the flesh of these men and women on these devil platform, and you giving them praise and glory through subscribing and liking to what they said out of their own flesh, wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. No spirit and truth nowhere in it. But it didn't start today. It started way back then. This is what you call the keys to the kingdom. So if you wonder what Sister Deborah be saying when she's saying spirit and truth, I just didn't want to get you confused. It is the keys to the kingdom. Telling you how heaven had already orchestrated it up and down. And it's gonna, not one word gonna fall by the wayside. He said he don't care if they took Genesis chapter 1 and verse 26, 27, 28, when I called them to have dominion over everything I created. And only he now today speaks as he has been given all dominion. I didn't tell him that. So who told him? He said the one who come to deceive the whole world told him. And they liked it. And they live it. They're going to die in it as well. In the eternal, even worse than on the earth. So I like that there because it separate the flesh of man, which was Adam, and life and spirit, which was first. Now, who come first? Well, the word, the power, the Father was first. Okay? Now, if he spoke these things first, how he wanted it to be, how do we get to where we at today? Adam's dirt form from the ground, which is flesh. That's where we at today. We put that dirt that was formed ahead of that spirit and that image of Yah with his breath above the dirt of the ground. Isn't that sad? No, not above, underneath the dirt. Now the dirt has risen and has dominion over our spirit, which was an image of him. That's the only place he comes. The Holy Spirit only comes to the image that he given you, that he breathed in you. That image, that's where he abide at, in your spirit. That's why he gave you that image. Because he knew that, okay, I'm going to give this to everybody. That's the only place I will come and meet up with them, is there in this spirit. But your spirit might already open the door for Satan's spirit to already enter in. So Yah is not coming to abide in you if you trust everything in the flesh. Meaning if you trust man's wisdom in the flesh, woman's wisdom in the flesh, man knowledge in the flesh, women knowledge in the flesh, man understanding in the flesh, woman understanding in the flesh, then you trust not he that is greater than any of all of that. That's why no one has what they think they have, which is the Ruach HaKodesh, because the Ruach HaKodesh don't share. He don't come in you and let somebody on the outside teach you. Oh, I forgot. Y'all don't know nothing about that. Y'all is not going to allow Satan to teach you to enter in and think he's going to come in there with him. No, he ain't. So, but the beauty of it all is when I think of how the beginning, was the word, and the word was with. I also think out of how before that even come forth, heavens had already wrote you in and wrote you out. See, that's what I'm trying to get y'all to understand. The war within is greater than the war without understanding. Because within you can see that there was a war before the foundation of the world was created in the heavens. A war was really going on. And if you can think back to that, you can pretty much understand today. But you can't. Because you're so busy understanding of man to where you don't understand the Ruach. Because the Ruach ain't gonna come and give you the understanding while you stuck on the understanding the flesh of man. He ain't gonna give you that. He gonna let you keep on rumbling the way you rumble. Because he already know which direction you're going in eternal. It was before the beginning. That's what y'all don't understand. So I do like that, and I like how he gives me the insight of the darkness and the light. Even in the Gospel of John, chapter 5, he said the light shining. Meaning, I gave him an image of me, Deborah, a spirit. It shined. It was working good. It's good. But they darkness, which is their flesh, is never gonna comprehend it. Sad. Okay, and then when you go like, let's go to Second Corinthians. Let's see what Second Corinthians is in. Second Corinthians. In Second Corinthians chapter 6, verse 14, let's see what it said. In Second Corinthians chapter 6, verse 14, be ye not unequally yoked together with unbelievers. For fellowship have righteous with unrighteous, and what communion with light and darkness. You see that? With what? Light and darkness. So when he's in the Gospel of John, chapter 1, verse 5, he said, the light shineth, but darkness don't comprehend. That's why. Because they have no communion. They have no nothing in common. That means your flesh has nothing in common with your spirit. So that's why your flesh is your worst enemy. It even stopped you from having a spiritual relationship with Yah. So this is what you see in the world. So this is why he let it be what it is, because people enjoy the flesh. People enjoy the dust of the ground greater than the image of Yah that was giving you the breath so that he himself can come and abide in you. So what happened? The war within versus the war without understanding. That there was a first and foremost a war way before Adam was created. That gives you the answer to why Yah created the world. You see? Because he took what had taken place in the heavens and he brought it to an earthly level. He signed the few to represent him. Satan had already took a great number with him. They too were spirits. So you see how it says when one leaves and they come back and see that the building is empty, they bring more. It's real, y'all. It's realer than real. Because it's about taking over your spirit. And when your spirit is empty and don't know what it's supposed to represent and that it is willing, and it just lets the flesh have its way, know that when you stand before judgment, you're going to be judged on the things of your flesh and not of your spirit. Let's say, for instance, you stand before the throne and you're being judged on your flesh, okay? But your spirit was, Yah reside in your spirit to get your spirit to tame your flesh, not to the number of perfect, because perfect now rests therein. That's what he means. He's going to hold you blameless because your spirit was clean enough from him to step in, to take it from here. So when you stand before him, okay, you're going to stand before him in your spirit where he resides. You get it? See, a lot of people want to say with their mouth, they're going back to their flesh, you're going back to that dust of the ground, okay, that were already created to war against the spirit. See, y'all think y'all up on something. Y'all, this stuff didn't start with your mouth, with your thoughts, with your knowledge, your wisdom, your understanding. This stuff was in the heavens and in the spiritual realm. That's why I don't let nobody tell me who I am in y'all. Just because you don't know who you are, don't mean I don't know who I am. And just because you denying who you are, don't mean I'm going to deny who I am. Why? Because you first what you called in the spirit before you who you are in your flesh. You first what you called in your spirit before who you are in the flesh. When you answer your spiritual calling, you know who you are. People who don't answer their spiritual calling, they don't know who they are. That's why they run around here trying to talk about those who know who they are and trying to downgrade those who know who they are, or trying to put them in their messages so that others can help support them, downgrade them, because they don't want to listen to them or because they don't want to hear them. They don't want to know that who you are in the spirit. That's a bad thing, but a lot of them, especially females, they do not want to know who you are in the spirit realm. Oh no, they want you to keep silent. Satan run around here rapping, and they want y'all's prophets and prophets keep silent. We don't want to listen to the false prophets and the false prophets. We don't want to listen to none else. We want the false pastors. We want the false leaders. We want the false apostles. We want the false bishops. We want the false watchmen. We want the false seers. We want the false Mories. We take everything false. Nothing real. Nothing. And that's the battle within versus the without understanding. That's the battle. Okay? So I do like what he's saying here in 2 Corinthians chapter 6, verse 14, when it talks, and what communion has light with darkness? Nothing. It's a battle, y'all. Your flesh is darkness. Okay? The spirit in you is the light. It's an image of Yah. It carries the breath that he has given you. And if that light don't have Yah abiding in it, it is worshiping your flesh. Okay? Now, let's go to Deuteronomy chapter 7. I'm just going to get some of these verses because these are what he has given me, and I'm going to put them forth. Never let someone tell you who you are. Never let somebody tell you that Yah is not saying things to you and he's not speaking through you. That is a form of, let me tell y'all something. When I was a young person, even in high school and so on through my 20s and stuff, I used to hear people always tell me, but Miss Deborah, they might listen to you, but they don't listen to us. They always say we judging. I ain't never heard nobody come to me like that. 62 years old, never heard nobody come to me saying I'm judging them. So I'm like trying to figure out what you mean they saying you judging them. Well, why did they say that? I don't know. When I try to witness, this is what they said, that my conversation and what I'm saying to them is judging them. So to me, that's an escape. Just like people would escape that Yah ain't said that to them. They just speak and saying Yah said. It's a form of when they feel offended by what you are saying, they need support. They run to the page and begin to teach it to the mass of their licensed subscribers so it can soothe their offense that they're feeling within. Not knowing that the offense that you feel is needed. It's there to correct you in righteous. But you can't stand that. That shows you that you built up a flesh that cannot stand for spiritual and truth to be spoken. Because you're so used to being the head and the control of your words, your wisdom, your knowledge, and your understanding, especially your feelings and your emotions. You don't know people, you all don't know a lot of these people who come on this devil platform with all these videos throughout the week and constantly, they looking for first and foremost to serve the devil to get his check. They're not telling you spirit and truth. Okay? And they really wants to get on here to ease their feeling of feeling offense, feeling offended. When they feel offended, they get on here talking all kind of old crazy things to try to cover up them feeling offended. You're feeling offended because righteous can stand on top of you and underneath you. and it's going to stand alone. So it don't need subscribers. It don't need praise. It don't need lots. Righteous stands alone. So you take everything that offend you, okay? Take it to the multitude who's going through the broad gate. Because that's what you're doing. You're showing them the way. Okay? So, with Deuteronomy chapter 7, let me see what Deuteronomy chapter 7 is saying. And Deuteronomy chapter 7, verse 2. Deuteronomy chapter 7, verse 2. Deuteronomy chapter 7, verse 2. And when thy Yah shall deliver them before thee, thou shalt smite them and utterly destroy them. Thou shalt make no covenant with them, nor show mercy unto them. Okay? This here is a good part. What I like about this here is when the Yah was telling them to possess a land and don't leave no one alive, in a sense, destroyed. And he knew why he was saying that. And he was telling them to, and when the Lord, when Yah said, shall deliver thee before thee, and deliver them before thee, and shall smite them and utterly destroy them. Now see how he says Yah shall? So when the young man come to me with a message saying that our Hebrew Israelite men have to stand up for truth, they're the only ones standing up. Baby, you can't stand up for truth. Who fighting this battle? Deuteronomy chapter 7. Who's fighting that battle? See, our Negro men don't understand. They don't need to fight the battle that Yah has already won. Let me say that again. Our Negro men don't, the tribe of Judah never understood the fullness of the right hand of the Father, which is his power that fought all battles that they have won. They did not win it, but they won it. Through who? The mighty right hand of the Father. And not now one of them jump up and preaching and teaching to you all how the right hand of the Father won all their battles. Even David can come up and tell you. David, I sat there and I said, oh, David, so you know about that? He said, yeah. He said, here it is, here it is, here it is. I started pulling them scriptures up. David talking about the right hand. How the right hand fought them battles. How could David know that the right hand and the stretched out arm of my father Yah have fought all of his battles, and these Negroes today gets on this devil platform, on these corners, in these camps, in these academies, in these homes, in these churches, in the woods, and everywhere else gathering to fight a battle they cannot win. Even to fight a mental state like that. To even get prepared for a thing like that. Yah is going to let them fight it on their own. So when the men are out there fighting, they fighting a losing battle. And I salute the Father from allowing them to fall dead by the sword. I salute him from allowing them to die in the war. Because the war and the fight, they made it their own. They made it their personal fight. The tribe of Judah make everything in the United States their personal fight. All of them. Whether they know that they are the Hebrew Israelites or whether they know not. The tribe of Judah always go out fighting their own battles. They never look to the Most High Yah. That's why Isaiah 3:25 have told them, this day, why? You're going to die by the sword. And the mighty men, meaning the one who want to be mighty and tough, you're going to die in the war. How about that? How about that? No, they ain't going to teach the men that. They so busy teaching them how to live a polygamy and teaching them how to be leaders, rulers, and kings, submitting, women submitting to them and them appearing to rule. I don't want to rule. Is that not what in Isaiah 3 said? The young men's going to come up and say, no, I don't want to be a ruler. I don't want to be a king. I don't want to be a leader. I don't want to be all that. I don't have nothing for you to be putting me in that position. That's what the young men going to be doing. And they ain't going to have no respect for the ancient. And that's what you see today. But those that's out here with these camps and with these groups, the ICU and all this and GOCC, all this mess, let me tell you something. All this ruler y'all said y'all I want to be king, ruler, we tough, we bad, we the war. Y'all letting you fight your own battle. Praise the mighty God. as a prophetess in the wilderness, I guarantee you, you're going to have to fight your own battle. He ain't fighting it with you. Because one thing you must have understood by the year of 2023, who he is, who he was, and who he going to be. And one thing David can pull up and say to you all, if you ain't learned who that right hand is, who that right hand was, who that right hand going to be, bro, you out here alone. And as Sister Deborah sit here and come to you and see Genesis chapter 1 and chapter 2, knowing the word has been spoken and the power has backed it up and down, and here you all are living a lifestyle of fools, taught by the dust of the ground, and prefer the message from the dust of the ground and the right hand of Satan. So all this wanting to be mighty men, guess what? Mighty men in war, here it comes. So when you all start to see your men dressing, when you start to see the tribe of Judah falling like flies, don't you mumble your word. Don't you mumble your mouth about anything, because guess what? It's backed up in Revelation. Okay? It's backed up in Isaiah. It's backed up in Jeremiah. It's backed up in Ezekiel. Just that. You got to be able to grip what took place in the wilderness. Did not the elders not make it? So here, the elders are not going to make it to the promised land, not the spiritual promised land. It is a people in a people that he's taking out to the promised land. And don't forget, before they get over there, he's already done told us how he's charging that land to get right. And then he's going to put on that land the word holy. And then he's going to bring this holy people that's in his bosom. Not in themselves, but in his bosom. He know they nasty. He know they stink. He know they filthy. But he said, Deborah, I'm going to clean them up. I'm going to sprinkle clean water. I'm going to clean their filth, Deborah. I'm going to give them a new heart, Deborah. I'm going to even give them a new heart of flesh. I'm going to give them a new heart of spirit, Deborah. I'm going to put my spirit in them. I'm going to call them by my name. That's what I'm talking about. That's the Yah I know. I don't know who you know. That's the Yah I know. So when he does that, I'm looking at that and I'm like saying, but that's not what they teaching these men today, Father Yah. I know that, Deborah. They're going to be left right here still teaching them how to fight, how to survive, and how to live. Mine's going to be up out of here. Okay? I salute you, Father Yah. I get it. I get it. And I just thank the Father Yah for just teaching me what took place before the foundation of the world when I was a young person. Because just knowing that alone helps support what I know today. And as he continued to teach me, it makes it's like, I don't see no more puzzles to the people, no more puzzles missing. I don't see none. I'm sorry. I do not see any puzzles missing. So here in Deuteronomy 7, chapter 7, and verse 2, he's talking to them about, shall deliver them before thee. Thou shalt smite them and utterly destroy them. Thou shalt make no covenant with them, nor show mercy unto them. Yah is letting you know when this stuff come down. He's telling them back then, and this was against other people, the Canaanites, and other ones. He was telling them to don't let them, in a sense, have no mercy on them. Okay, so I like this because he said here, telling them that he's going to destroy them. Him himself is going to do this. But he's telling them, if I'm going to do this, don't you all have no mercy on them. Don't look at them to be something different than what I'm about to do to them. Let me say that again. Don't look at them to be something different than what I'm about to do to them. How about that? How about that? Don't have no mercy on them. And what else it says? No covenant with them. Don't, because I'm finna throw down. You see what I'm saying? So it's like even to today. Y'all, hey, when I see that judgment of his, I see the lawlessness that he said that hit the ground, the earth. I see the wrath and the fierce of my Father and his power. Let me tell y'all something. And his fire. I ain't got time to play with y'all. I ain't got time. I don't have time to play with y'all. And furthermore, I want y'all to understand this. When you speak of the whole armor of Yah, you got to understand that spiritual. Don't let nobody tell you to put on something like you can go into your closet and pull it up, pull it out your closet and put it on. Put your helmet on and your breastplate. Go in your closet and put it on, y'all. Put it on. Nobody. Don't ever let nobody. Don't ever let a fool tell you can put on the whole armor of Yah. We are not in the state of mind today to even think we can put on something that we knew not of. It is spiritual, y'all. It is spiritual. The armor of Yah is all spiritual, and you just can't put it on in the flesh. Lost, deceiving people would tell people, put on your whole armor of God. You better put on your whole armor. But let me explain to you. That's a person that's been teaching for too long, and they have lost their way, and they still teach as if they know the way. Those are people that would tell you to put on the whole armor as if they know the way. And because they have been on here all this length of time, they feel they know the way. Don't follow that. Because the war, the true war within versus the war without understanding. That's what you see today. The whole armor of Yah is spiritual. And it can't be put on unless you have gotten your spirit in control of your flesh. And the spirit of Yah reside in your spirit. He is the armor itself. That's the armor of Yah. It's not as if you can go to your closet and put something on at the last minute. Oh, when you in danger. Oh, I'm in trouble. Let me go put on the armor. That's how they act. That's how they teach. Oh, I'm going to put this on now so I can tell somebody what to do and what to say or what somebody doing to me, and y'all going to get them and kill them and all that. Don't let nobody sell you that. Don't let nobody sell you that. That's a bunch of trash. Okay? The whole armor is spiritual. You cannot put that armor on unless you understand that you have a spirit where Yah abide. Trusting in the full armor, a helmet, the breastplate, the sword, and all of that is vain and vexed. It's just people been on this devil platform so long using it. They're using it to the best of their ability because they quote the word without the power. And what happened? Adam rise up as the dust and the dirt and ride heavy over the spirit because you never knew that the spirit is higher than the flesh, and the spirit has to learn through the ruach how to get the flesh under the subjection so that the spirit can also tarry and wait for the Holy Spirit. And when the Holy Spirit come in, it helps you to get your flesh under subjection. But stop giving yourself the credit that you can go into your closet and put on the whole armor. Ain't no such thing. No such thing. The whole armor is not like unto a man. That's why I keep telling y'all, people are looking at the outer man as the one that has the ability to override all things that's happening, all things that's going on. That's people who teach flesh, who teach man has the power. But when you teach that which is spirit, you don't go teaching people that the whole armor of Yah is something you're going to put on as if it's just that simple. Why they can teach that? They've been teaching it for too long. Till they believe it themselves. They don't understand the whole armor is a spirit of everything that wraps in to the Ruach HaKodesh. And it's saying, seek ye the whole armor. The whole armor is putting your trust wholly in Yah. And as you put your trust in him, he is the breastplate, he is the helmet, he is the sword, he is all that in you. But you can't just teach people, put on the whole armor. It's time to put on, like it's a time period. or it's when you in danger, when you feel offended, when this happened to you and this happened, we better put on a whole armor. Those are people who teach in the flesh. And if they don't get it right, it's because they can't get it right. Yah has been disappointed in the way they've been teaching all these years, to where he poured out the strong delusion so they can believe their own lie and even appear, look, act, walk, talk as if they are righteous, just, upright. And they have none of spirit and truth to teach nobody, nor the light to lead the people. Okay, so let's go to Psalms 130, Psalms 139. Psalms 139. Psalms 139. Psalms 139 and verse 12. What is going on here? Psalms 139 and verse 12. Yea, the darkness hideth not from thee, but the night shineth as day. Let me explain that. And this is Psalms 139 and verse 12. This is what Sister Deborah is saying in that last verse I just explained to you. People are making the darkness as if it is the day. They turning right wrong and wrong right. They're making darkness the day. Okay? And they turning day to be the darkness. And this is how they teach on these platforms. They teach that way. And they have for quite some time. That's why the devil ain't going to remove them. The devil ain't going to tamper with them. That's why they go on and on and on, because the devil approve of the way they're teaching and the way they're speaking. That's why they getting the glory they think they think they getting, because they think they telling you truth. No, you ain't getting glory because you're telling somebody the truth. It's because you're not telling them the truth. Because glory gonna walk into the narrow gate, not into the broad. And that's something they don't agree with. They won't accept. That's that strong delusion he said he's poured on them. But so in the book of Psalms 139, it reads in verse 12. It says, yea, the darkness has hid not from thee. That means the darkness is not hiding from you. For what? 99.9 walks in darkness. They love it. That's their flesh. So watch this here. But the night shineth as the day, and it pretends as if it's righteous. That's why it says shining. The night shineth. So the night is taking on a fake identity. The darkness is taking on a fake identity, as if it shine as the day. That's how a lot of them on this devil platform is. Everybody thinking they the day. Because it took on the darkness, pretending with the shine that they are today. When they are darkness, y'all. It's like they dressed in sheep clothing, but they're wolves. Identical. And this is what Yah is allowing. Because he know that, hey, Deborah, tell them I created the two gates. The two again. I know which way is which. I embroaden for destruction the gate that is broad. So they tracing the broad gate in subscribers and likes and in praise and in glory. So therefore they're going in the broad gate. They ain't looking through the narrow gate. They can't even see it. So they would turn their darkness with a shine that it appear as day. Okay? Now watch this here. The darkness and the light are both a light to them. Look at the word to them. That's slanted because the Father want me to expound on to them. That's exactly like I just got to explaining to you. They will get on here and tell you to put on the whole armor. And you know that that's in the biblical book. You know that it says the whole armor. Okay? And it talks about the breastplate, the helmet of salvation, the sword. It sounds so good because you heard it. But it is not spoken in righteousness, in the proper order of spirit. It's spoken as flesh, as if you have the power to put on something and get positive reaction. I would even teach you all to put on a whole armor without explaining to you and breaking down to you who the whole armor is. And I will never give that authority to the flesh as if it has the ability to put on something that is spirit. The flesh don't have the authority nor the right to put on anything that is spirit. You see? And the whole armor is spirit. It is not flesh. Okay? So here I love this in Psalms 139 in verse 12. Ye, the darkness hide it not from thee. So it letting you know the wheat and the tare grew together, but you see more tare. But don't forget, the broad gate is broad. So many shall go therein. It's outriding the narrow gate anyway. So y'all don't have no problem with that. He don't want the broad gate up in his heaven no way. See, that's another thing people don't understand. That narrow gate leads to life, eternal life. See, people don't get that. That's why you don't hear people preaching about it, because it doesn't match what you see in the world today. Praise Almighty. No one will preach to you about the two places that Yah created, the broad gate and the narrow gate. They won't preach that to you. Why? Because they know that the broad gate and the narrow gate is a way and a gate in which Yah has chosen, has created. Not only is he telling you in the world, in the flesh, in the world, it's like unto in the heavens. These gates, when it's time for judgment, these gates that's already have walked throughout life in the broad gate, is going to already know the way. It's going to follow that gate that leads to the lane of the books that leads to hell. You see? And the narrow gate were very few going to find. And when he say few, he's telling you, we as people, wake up. When Sister Deborah is telling y'all, when you see 144, don't be overwhelmed. That's 1%. That's not a number. That's very few. That's a small remnant. Stop thinking that you trying to make everybody, deceive everybody, that everybody going somewhere, and you and everybody don't even know nothing, but yet y'all going somewhere. You don't even know where you're going and how to get there. And who gonna lead you? Who gonna guide you? Who gonna take you there? And what he gonna do when he get there? No one is meditating on that. Now, when you talk about the two gates, there go the twos. He said to me, Deborah, ain't nothing that they cannot see. So don't overhurt yourself. Yes, I speak to you in spirit and truth and with the anointing. Greater is he himself in me. So he already done let me know. Don't go thinking this is a battle for you to fight, because the war is over. They just too ignorant to know it, because they haven't learned the war within versus the war without any understanding. That's where they at. Okay? So I like that, because it's telling you that the way today is going to be dark, and they're going to be moving it like it's light, like it's daytime. Meaning it's faking, the darkness is faking to be light. Okay? And the people are loving it. They loving it. That's why you see in Psalms 139 and you see in verse 12 where the Holy Spirit is revealing to me as I speak to you the slanted word to thee. To thee. That says, Deborah, search that. And when I search it as I speak it, I see that it says, and the light are both alike to thee. That means this darkness has gripped how to deceive the people in the light, to where the light, the darkness looked like light. It appeared like light. Just as dressing in sheep clothing, but they are wolves. Praise the mighty Yah. Praise the mighty Yah. 1 John chapter 2, verse 9. I get it, y'all. I get it. I get it. I get it. I get it. 1 John chapter 2, verse 9. Let's see what it said. He that said he is in the light and hated his brother is in darkness, even until now. Now, let me show y'all spirit and truth in that. Okay? Listen to that. The gospel, no, it ain't the gospel. It's the first epistle of John, but it's 1 John 2 and verse 9. Listen to this. He that said he is in the light and hated his brother is in darkness, even until now. Ooh, Father, you better cut it out. You better cut that out. You better cut it out, Father, y'all. You better cut that out. Let's go over it again. 1 John chapter 2 and verse 9. He that said he is in the light and hate his brother is in darkness, even until now. Okay, that takes us to where he's taking me now. What he said is, go back to Genesis 3 and 15. When you get to Genesis 3 and 15, and what is it read? Genesis 3 and verse 15. This is when Yah is telling Satan pretty much that I'm putting something there. Okay? He's letting him know, I will put intimacy between thee and the woman, and between thy seed, between thy seed and her seed, and it shall bruise thy head, and thou shalt bruise his heel. I want you to see that, because in that is showing you that something is going to be put there. Okay? Something is going to be put there, and it's called intimacy. When I look up that word in Hebrew and Greek, it's called hatred and hate. Hatred and hate. Oh my goodness. Hold on, you guys. Oh, I'm sorry. My bride came for me, y'all. I'm so sorry. Now, that's hate and hatred. So what has happened is when you get to John, 1 John chapter 2 and verse 9, he that is in the light and hate his brother. He's letting you know that intimacy was put in the beginning. Satan is going to hate the light. Come on. Come on. Satan is going to hate the light. Okay? And if he's going to hate his life, he's going to hate his brother. Did not say Cain hate Abel? Did not Cain hate Abel? And Abel had not done anything to him. You see? But yet he had that hate to kill his brother. So you see what he's saying? He's saying here in verse 9, he that said he is in the light and hate his brother. You see, same thing Cain did to Abel. Okay? Is in darkness even until now. Meaning he's fooling himself. You see? Because this hate was sealed in Genesis chapter 3, verse 15. When God told Satan that I will put intimacy between thy seed and her seed. That means Satan's seed and the spiritual seed of the woman. So what is he saying? That he's going to cause Satan is going to show himself up in hate and hatred. That's what he did when it came time for Cain to be born and his brother Abel. Abel did nothing to Cain, but Cain had a hate. That's what it tells you. He had a hate for his brother for no reason at all. So it's telling you the same way in John, 1 John chapter 2 and verse 9. Anybody say that they hate their brother, they are really in darkness. Okay? Because they are not of the light. Because the light don't hate. Only that intimacy that he told Satan he's going to put between him and the spiritual seed was going to be the hater. So when you run around and you're trying to figure out why is this level of hate so high, and it should not be, and the reason why, and I can't believe this, I can't get with this is why. Because in Genesis 3 and 15, it was already placed there. The hate and hatred was already placed before anything was anyone else was here outside of Adam and Eve, and anybody else he created outside of that. So when you go back into Genesis and you get to Genesis 3:15, you can see intimacy. And intimacy in Hebrew and in Greek mean hatred and hate. So when you understand on your workplace, your community, your neighborhood, and anywhere you go, when you see this level of hate, even in your family, when you see this level of hate, this is what gives you closure, because you can see it in Genesis in the beginning. God put it there. God did that because he wanted us to recognize. Listen to what he said. 1 John chapter 2. He that said that he is in the light, when he's coming to you telling you, I'm the light, and hate his brother, is in darkness even unto today. Meaning it's locked in him to hate. It's locked in her to hate. So a lot of times we trying to work in individual, and the Father is saying that we can't. Because the beginning already told us from the top to the bottom that I allowed this to be. Okay? So, and here again, this is also bringing in the twos. He wants you to understand the tree of knowledge of good and evil. That's one. And the tree of life. There go two. There go the twos that we still yet don't understand that exist. It's the war within versus the war without understanding. We're not understanding this thing. And we messed it up from Genesis 1 and 2. Okay, so I'll be ready in a few, you guys. And the next one is the seed of Satan. We covered that, and the seed of the woman. We see that hatred was put in there. Now we're going to Cain. We're going to go to Cain in Genesis chapter 4. Now I'm gonna reveal something to you that through the Spirit teaching me, he revealed something to me that I didn't know. It's a lot of times when he's teaching me stuff, I always say to him, I said, Father, I remember that. I kind of understand that. He said, no, you don't understand this. And I like that because he said, I'm finna top on top of what you do understand. I'm finna go on top of it. Always be ready to learn something each and every day. And that's what I learn every day. I'm open to that. And I don't think it's because it's me. I think it's who he is in me that causes me to be in that way. So when you get to Genesis chapter 4 and you see verse 1 and 2, it says Adam and Eve knew. Adam knew Eve, his wife, and they conceived and bare Cain. That's it. They bare Cain, and Cain was recognized by them, and especially by her. She conceived and bare Cain, and said, I got a man from Yah. Okay, in verse 2. And she again bare his brother. You notice, this is why I say I feel sad for, like I said, to our Hebrew Israelite men that's out on these corners and out here trying to teach the pure word of Yah when they don't even have the beginning. They are not even under the basic. I feel sad for them because without even the basic, you in trouble. You cannot go out here trying to teach this thing in spirit and truth. And you are up under the basic. You're under the basic. That's just how sad it really is to me. Now, don't forget, I'm coming from the wilderness level, meaning I'm seeing beyond what you all see in the natural. Because I'm a seer of the natural and of the spirit. Okay? But the only difference is I'm flesh living on the earth as the servant of Yah, to be that has been given these abilities to see the two. And that's why he said that I give you long suffering and endurance, because you're going to need those spirits of long suffering and endurance to be able to take on this task. And I see why. Because even here, let's go. In Genesis chapter 4, verse 1 and 2, you see that she had sexual intercourse with Adam and had Cain. But you notice she bare her Abel, but she didn't have sexual intercourse. When someone might say, oh, yes, she did. She had him by Adam. Yes, she had him married to Adam. But Cain was strictly, as a lot of people hold on into this Enoch stuff, like unto Enoch. Abel didn't come here like you all think he came. He came through the womb of a woman. She buried him. So it lets you know she buried him, but he did not come like Cain came. Cain was the seed, okay, of the serpent. And Abel was the seed of the spirit. So even though she buried him, he came in as the seed of the spirit. Total different way. What do you mean? Let's go to, let's take you to Genesis 25 and 26. In Genesis 25 and 26, listen to this. In Genesis 25, Adam knew his wife again. You notice you see that word knew. That means a sexual intercourse. But when you go back to Genesis chapter 4 and verse 2, you don't see Adam knew Eve and had Abel, because there was no contact of Adam. Eve buried him, meaning she brought forth Abel, but it wasn't from the seed of Adam. Okay? Reason why you can compare the two, because when Eve had Cain, she knew Adam. When Eve had Seth, she knew Adam, meaning another sexual intercourse. But you don't see that in Genesis chapter 4 and verse 2 when he brought forth Abel. This is the example of what I was explaining to you again. When Jesus, as the word called, Yeshua said to his disciples, there were 12, and he asked them, who do they say that the Son of Man, which is he, is? And they began to say, John the Baptist, a prophet, Elijah. And then he said in another question, well, okay, who do they say I am, which is Ahaya, is? And then Peter pulled up the Son of the living Yah, meaning the Son of Yah. You see the difference in how the Son of Man had to step back and call order to the power in heaven, for it has given it to Peter. Okay? Not him, but the power. Well, this is how this is here. We have to see the power at work. We have to see that the power came into Eve and gave her Abel without knowing Adam. You see? And then you go over to the same chapter 4 and verse 24. Now she's getting ready to have another son. And Seth, I think that's how you pronounce his name. And Adam knew Eve, his wife. Now he having a sexual encounter. And she bare the son and called his name Seth. For Yah said, she has appointed me another seed instead of Abel. And whom Cain slew. Now you notice, this is what I'm going to show you the difference between me and you. I'm taught from the wilderness because he wants me to see it in the spirit realm. And in the spirit realm, I see that the Father in Genesis chapter 4 and verse 2 was actually putting down on the earth an example. He's putting down an example. Let me say that again. The Father in the heavens is bringing down an example for Sister Deborah and those that are out, are the servants of the Most High God. He's giving you an example of Genesis 3 and 15. What is in the Genesis 3 and 15? I put intimacy between your seed, Satan, and the woman's seed, which is the spiritual seed. What is that intimacy there? It's giving Satan the whole ideal of understanding he's going to have a hate and a hatred toward the spiritual seed. So what did Yah do? He showed his prophet. See, here's an example, Deborah, of Genesis 3, verse 15, Satan having a hate for my spiritual seed. You get to Genesis 4, verse 2. There it is. And she again buried a brother Abel. This is a spiritual seed. And Abel was a keeper of the sheep, and Cain was a tilter of the ground. What did Cain do? He had so much hate for the spiritual seed of the woman till he did what? He killed his brother, his baby brother. He took his life without no reason, no excuse, outside of one thing. Go back. Genesis chapter 3, verse 15. Enmity, hatred. You pull back to Genesis chapter 4. This is what Cain did to Abel. The serpent seed did exactly what Yah has said that the serpent would have in it. This was called, what did I call it? It was called an example to see. So when everybody going all up in Torah and all in the New Testament, you lost it. Because I explained to y'all the war is within. It's versus the war without understanding. The one without understanding has torn up the war within. Okay? So you don't have no understanding that the war exists before the war you see today and the war you seen yesterday. Okay? So here you see that Abel was the spiritual seed, that the serpent seed, and the enmity that Yah told the serpent that will be in between. And he used it the first chance he got to take out the woman's seed, which was Abel. He was not created from Adam knowing Eve. Now, we go into that, and then you drop over to, like I said, that same chapter, and you see 25, where you see Adam knew Eve, his wife, again. And she bare a son and called his name Seth. For Yah said, she has appointed me another seed instead of Abel. Now, do you get that? Whom Cain slew. Now, listen to what he's saying. Listen to what he's saying now. For Yah said. Now, when he said this, he said, now, Deborah, it's time to look. And when I look, I see my slanted word said she. He's calling the spiritual seed. Okay? He's calling the spiritual seed have appointed. Appointed mean ordained. She has. Yah, for Yah said, she, there go the she. Who is the she? Her seed. Have appointed, has been ordained me another seed instead of Abel. What was Abel? A spiritual seed. And that's where she come in, and appointed mean ordained me another seed instead of Abel's seed, whom Cain slew. So he bringing you back into the spiritual realm, but he bringing a different one from a different angle. He's bringing in Seth as the spiritual seed, even though he came from Adam. Abel was brought strictly spiritual. Abel was brought in strictly spiritual. So the anointed one can see what Genesis 3 and 15 was talking about, the enmity between Satan and the woman's seed. It's called hate and hatred. That's what the enmity means in Hebrew and Greek. Okay, so when you come down to now we complete it, and listen to this. In verse 26 it says, and to Seth, to him also there was born a son, and he called his name Enos. Then began man to call upon Yah. You see the name of Yah. See, now you know that this is the spiritual seed coming in. But this time he brought it in through Adam and Eve, but yet it is assigned the spiritual mission. Abel was a sign, but Abel was an example to show you and I, who are born of the Spirit, an understanding and how the intimacy in Genesis 3 and 15 is to be noticed. Okay, that how one is going to take the life